you've been nominated for a Brit Award?
They just said, look, you know, you're nominated and that's it.
Do you think you're still owed money then?
I would say there's money in disease.
Some people say there is a cure for cancer, but they're just making too much money from it. Would you like to pass comment?
And then obviously what pops up is the second single, Thinking About Your Alarm.
He found the song in the bin.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We've done a couple of Top of the Pops and all the rest of it. And I was still only on a retainer of £100 a week.
Okay, so why the title first, Unstoppable?
In that period, I wrote a song that Rod Stewart took and cut, and there was another record that I wrote that George Benson cut.
And then the Thinking About Your Love video, how much was that?
When we get into 80, 90 grand videos, they're crap.
Only Love? Oh shit, okay, yeah, that's big. Okay, there, yeah.
It was definitely creeping up to like your 10s and 15s, which was a lot of money then.
Yeah. Kim Wilde's on here.
Every artist is still owed money. Hi everyone, I'm Kenny Thomas and you are watching the Shizzio show. This is my new album, Unstoppable, that's out now. If you don't remember me, you might remember me from this song. If you're hurt, I'm hurting too. And I'm thinking about your love. If you need someone to care, I'll be there. You should know I'll never change. 'Cause I'm thinking about your love tonight, today, and always.
Shizzio bringing it back with the noise. Hoi oi, hoi oi, special MC, I'm back with the joy. Hoi oi, hoi oi, Shizzio bringing it back with the noise. And you bring me love, and you bring me joy. Hoi oi.
Yeah, can we do this? No apologies, think I'm gonna be a nuisance. Way back then was a dead. Okay, we are back, another episode. You know what we love to see? The sun is shining. A bit too much, but it's all right. We'll get there. Thank you to everyone. Please like and subscribe. So many people are watching the episodes, but they don't press the subscribe button. We're giving you free content. Golden nuggets we're giving you for free. The least you can do is press the subscribe button. I mean, the legendary guest status continues. Oh my God, if you had told me a year ago that we were going to get this guy and I would have said, bullshit, it's not happening. A real legend, soundtrack to some of my life, actually. Kenny Thomas is in the building.
How you doing?
Wow. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm great.
Side note.
All the better for being here.
This is surreal. I'm telling you, I've told people that you're coming and people are like, what? And they instantly go to you know what.
Hey, really? Is he still alive?
Is he still about? Thank you so much. New album is come out.
Yes.
Unstoppable. We will get to it.
Yeah, that
Thank
came
you
out.
so much. A little birdie, you tells me this is the first vinyl.
You're the first to get one.
Do you want to confirm this? Because that's
Absolutely,
a big statement,
you are.
know. This is the
That
first.
is the-
Let me put that there.
That CD and that one are the first one out of the box.
Are you sure?
I'm not lying.
I need this signed. This is
Absolutely, I will.
This is massive. How are you first, sir?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You were saying off camera you used to knock around these part of the...
Yeah, I know this. I used to, up the road, I used to roller skate in the 80s at Valentine Park and...
We will... Right, what? He's talking
and
real
all around there.
local.
I had a few friends who lived around here, yeah. They've all moved on now.
All right, well, let's go back to your journey then.
Yeah.
Born and bred where, sir?
Born in Islington.
Right.
And not far from where the Emirates is now.
Yeah.
Right there. And then grew up there for a little while, short while, lived for another short while in the Canary Islands. In Las Palmas.
Tax-free.
Well, I wish.
Hey,
I wish.
tax-free. Okay, now it's starting to make sense.
That's when I was a boy in the 70s. Las Palmas, Gran Canaria. My mum was from there.
Right.
So we emigrated. That didn't really work out. And then we came back and landed back in Islington.
Right,
and
hold on.
eventually in Hackney.
Okay, stop. What decade is this, sir, if you don't mind me asking?
70s. I was born 68, so this is like early 70s.
And how long are you in Islington for first, before you...
This is like up till 1973, 74.
What's that? For 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, and then we're
Okay.
off to the Canary Islands, then we come
Right,
back, and
hold
by
on.
sort of 1975, 76, we're eventually nestled
Slow
in
down, slow down.
We're in Hackney.
All right, cool, slow down. Break down Islington for those that don't know in the 70s. Go.
Islington in the 70s?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Because I wasn't there.
Well, it's just like any part of London, not as much traffic.
Right.
Still a bit of a fast pace.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're a bit of a Londoner, there was the pie mash shops, what my
Yeah.
nan and granddad used to take me to. And yeah, it was a different world really back then from what I remember of being a kid in the 70s.
When you say different...
There was the Arsenal. My
Oh.
dad took me to the Arsenal, my first match in 1974.
Oh, like
that
you
was
a
the old
gooner.
Highbury, not the Emirates.
Oh, like
obviously.
you a gooner then?
Oh, unfortunately.
That's all right. I don't want to get involved in that.
No, we don't
wanna
get
say
involved in
nothing.
religion, politics, or football.
I'm telling you. When you say it was a lot different, what is different? I mean, it's fairly obvious, but...
Well, I mean, it wasn't, the city wasn't as busy from what I remember. I remember
Right.
going into the West End and stuff and on the tube as a kid and stuff like that, but it wasn't hectic like it is now.
Right.
Now it's bustling. It's like.
Would you say it was safer times?
Really?
Because we have this comparison here about
Right.
how London's not safe, etc., etc. Anymore.
Any city
it's
at
not
any
like
time
it
has
used to be.
Any city at any time's not been safe. My dad used to talk to me about in the 50s there was like these razor blade gangs that go around and they had these little razor blades on and whatever, and they'd do your coats or do you.
Right.
You know, I mean, that was happening in the 50s. I mean, a city's a city. It's going to
Yeah.
have, crazy stuff.
No, but it's interesting when people say like London is so not safe anymore, etc., or how it used to be is the comparison. So it's interesting to get a point of view from someone who perhaps was. Do you know what I'm saying?
Listen, nowhere feels safe if it gets inside your head, right? If you're living in fear, nowhere feels safe. Well, I've wandered around New York or Manhattan on my own in the 90s and people say, wow, the 90s was definitely not safe in New York. Well, it wasn't. But I was safe in my head.
Right.
And I was just roaming around doing my thing. And maybe when you feel like that, maybe you're emitting a different frequency, a different energy. And people think, oh, this guy isn't living in fear.
Very true.
I don't know. Maybe it's the law of attraction. You're living in fear, you're going to attract something like that. I don't care, but all I know is I've wandered around all parts of London, grew up
The
in
wanderer.
the hood, and it's like, damn it, man, nothing's happened so far.
Where are your parents from, sir? Your background?
My dad's a Londoner, Islington born and bred. He's no longer with us. My mum from the Canary Islands. She's Spanish, so from Las Palmas.
Okay, and where in Islington? Because it's a big borough, mate.
Where was I born?
Yeah, like where in Islington? Are you in
so we
Highbury?
lived not far off what they call the Nag's Head, Holloway Road, Caledonian Road.
Okay.
Where I was born was Liverpool Road.
Right, fair enough. Okay, cool. That's that. And then your family decides to go to a tax-free Canary
I
Islands.
wish. Disastrously, decided to move over there.
Why was that? Just a better life?
My mum had some bereavements, and she just needed to be back where she belonged, her home and around some, her family.
Right.
And we spent a while there, but that didn't work out for my dad. Back then, the English going to like an Englishman like my dad who was in the building game, plaster and stuff.
Right.
To go to the Canary Islands, there wasn't the expats and there wasn't all that going on like there was then. It was, you were quite on your own. So he managed to get some work and in with some Spanish firms, but that's where it didn't work out for
How
him.
long was you out there for?
I reckon, I don't know, I think it was probably a year and a half tops.
Okay.
Maybe less.
And are there any stand-out things that you noticed that was different to there? Do you know what I mean? Or are you too young?
What's different with Canary Islands?
Well,
I loved it.
know what it.
I loved it.
Right.
The weather was great.
Absolutely.
Going to the beach,
Right.
It's more relaxed, and I loved being around my Spanish side of the family. They're full of life and laughter, and
Are you going to school out there?
I went to school out there.
Right. How was that then?
It was a struggle at first because everything's in Spanish, but being like a kid, I don't know, you just seem you're a bit of a sponge and you absorb things. And
Right.
my mum and dad said that within a few weeks I was flying.
Really?
Yeah, I was flying. Yeah.
Can you speak it now?
No, you don't use. If you don't use it, you lose it.
It's so true.
So
though.
my mum passed away many years ago,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's used less and less. So if I'm out there and I'm around it, I start to pick it up and get going. But it's rusty, man.
I hear you. You got all that, bruv. You got to move back out there. All right,
I
cool.
know.
So it didn't really your dad wasn't really feeling it, but your mum was.
It worked. Yeah, my mum loved it there because it's her home. But for my dad, it didn't work out.
Right.
It was a different time. The 70s.
So you all come back.
We came back and we were effectively homeless.
Right.
And so we lived with my grandparents for a while
Where?
over near Holloway Road there, and then eventually we were housed off of Hornsey Road.
Right.
In Islington,
Yep.
and then from there that was pretty grim. That was like temporary accommodation, or their version of it back then, which was grim. Anyway, and then eventually we were offered that place on Stamford Hill.
Right.
So you could say the whole Canary Islands thing was a complete disaster, and we ended up, in a rut. But the irony of it is, if I never landed in Stamford Hill and never grew up on Hillside Estate,
You wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have known the mates I knew, the Jamaican mates, the African mates, Pakistani friends, and the music, and their older brothers who had great music collections, and just the general thing that was going on with
So
soul
it's an
music.
estate then, yeah?
It was a council estate. Yeah.
Is it rough or is it kind of everyone knows everyone? Because
Everyone knows everyone. It's rough,
yeah.
but you know everyone.
Right.
So there is community, there's family. There's a sense of belonging.
And that's kind of your first interaction with all of these cultures. It's like a melting pot. Everyone's
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And of course, if you're a normal man like me in life, you're led with the stomach. Then you're getting to taste all. I've obviously grew up with Spanish food, but you're getting to taste all these different foods in friends' houses and flats and stuff. You know.
What's the top 3 foods then? Go on.
Oh.
Let's have it.
Well, what do I like? Number one for me, spicy food.
Right.
I love it if it's curries, and I like Thai food.
Yeah.
Obviously, I grew up eating quite punchy food, but I do like my ackee and saltfish and my rice and peas. Jerk chicken and all that. But I also like things like Sri Lankan curries, which have got a bit of a kick to them. So all of that.
Yeah.
And I grew up with Nigerians as well, so you got your sort of like. With Ghanaians, like you've got your fufu and you've got your jollof rice and all that with the Nigerians. So you grow up with all of that. And then you've got the Bajans. So we grew up with like eating things like pig trotter sauce. Tried it once, never again. But
What's
it was
that,
nice.
Sorry?
Pig trotter sauce.
What is that?
It's like a sauce. It's really punchy. It's hot. And
what is the dish? What is it from? What is it? Is it meat?
Trotter.
Pig?
Oh,
pig
swine trotter.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I tried everything once. I tried it once.
Yeah.
And it was different.
You was like, nah.
But it was spicy. I like the spice of it.
Have you got brothers and sisters?
I got one, a sister, and I got two brothers from my dad's previous marriage, so half brothers, but we don't consider ourselves half anything.
Are you kind of living together? Or,
no. What, back then?
Yeah.
No, I'm with my sister. My dad obviously remarried in the 60s, and he met my mum, and then he had me and my sister, Sandra.
Right. Okay, cool. So you're in the estate, all of these cultures, but you all get on. You're not really outside. Are you doing naughty things or?
We're always doing naughty things. We were good kids that did naughty things.
You're going to have to explain that, mate. That don't work.
Yeah, well, we're always up to things, you know what I mean? It was great on a council estate. It was always, if you're doing the innocent stuff when you're younger, like knocking on people's doors and running away, that sort of innocent stuff. But it progresses from there,
What is that called, FYI? Is that knockdown ginger or is that something else?
We call it knockdown ginger. Right, my kids don't call it now.
I heard it some other name and I was like, what is this crap?
I'm just trying to think what my kids call it now, but it isn't knockdown ginger anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even know where knockdown ginger came from.
Yeah, I know, but
that's what we called it.
We used to call it knockdown ginger. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing harmless stuff?
Yes.
There's a hesitance in the yes.
Yeah.
What else you did?
And then as you progress in, you might do other things. Like when we got Walkmans, money was scarce, right? So you didn't have a lot of money, but you got a Walkman, and Walkmans need energy.
Batteries.
Yes. So we would find ourselves sort of eventually doing a little bit of shoplifting to get hold of some Duracells or whatever, Ever-Readies or whatever they were at the time. And so until I got caught.
Okay.
Until I got caught in Woolworths, of course.
You got caught in Woolworths.
So yeah, by someone who kindly didn't report me to the authorities, but tipped off my mum.
How did you do that?
Just she knew my mum.
Oh.
And she said, look, your son has been lifting a few bits and pieces, batteries, and changing stickers around. And in the end,
changing the tag was the thing.
My very short-lived shoplifting career was over, and that was it.
Were your parents strict?
Yes.
When I say strict, did they whoop that ass?
Yes. My dad was fast and furious.
Okay. Are we talking hands or belt?
No, we're talking hands.
Okay.
I've seen the belt going on in other households, but he wasn't one for the belt. He was one for hands.
What was that?
I don't know what that was.
That was very random. Okay, he was one for hands. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So shoplifting, is that as far as your rap sheet goes?
Yes. As far as
there's a proper hesitant and he's talking. I'm telling you.
At that stage, yeah.
Okay.
And so then what happened was, you want the story? I'll give you the story.
Go on, man.
Okay. So there were older kids,
right?
And it's
the peer pressure.
It's this yes and no. It's also curiosity and just being part of what was going on. But there's kind of like it's the early 80s,
right?
Going into the early 80s, and there was some crazy times then, and I remember when I was a bit younger than that, so maybe sort of 1980, thereabouts, maybe 1980 I would say, or 79. I was around about 11, and I wouldn't say naive, but sometimes you just trust people.
Yeah.
So I remember one of the lads, it was an older lad, and he would. There's a couple of times this happened where I'd be on the balcony of our flat, and he'd be running in the flat. He'd be running like sweating and really quite an athletic guy he was.
Yeah.
He's dead now, bless him. But he basically would say, "Here, Ken, look. You see my girlfriend's. Can you hang on to my girlfriend's handbag for a minute? Just hold on to it for a bit and just I'll come back for a bit later.
Right.
So you just think, well, okay, I'll hang on to his girlfriend. He's asked me, he must be telling the truth. Well, you know, after a couple of times though, you realise that what he's doing
How many handbags his girlfriend got?
Yeah.
Right.
He's using you as a bit of a safe house.
Yeah.
Because he's up the road mugging.
Yeah.
So I put a stop to that. In the end, it was like, no more handbags.
How did you find out? You just realised?
Yeah, you just kind of, the penny drops. You think he's done it twice now and they're different handbags and it just doesn't make sense.
I hear you. And in school, how are you in school, sir?
School was all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was okay and I enjoyed it to a degree. I likened it to a bit of a prison sentence, you know.
Okay.
It was like doing time for me.
Then you didn't enjoy it then, did you?
I enjoyed the friends I made and I enjoyed the camaraderie and I enjoyed what was going on, again, musically. The whole thing that was coming up, the electro music and that hip hop was emerging and the body popping and all of that. I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed going to our first lot of clubs with some of the guys from school and our first concerts, you know, like Hammersmith Odeon or the Apollo as it is now. But
studying's not a thing.
Yeah, I did my studies. I was one of these kids. I got a bit of a memory on me, you see. So I was one of those kids that got the letter a few months before the O levels, as they were called then.
The GCSEs.
The GCSEs now.
Right.
And it was a letter that read to the effect of like, look, your son's really not, you know, pulling his weight in class and he's not doing what he's meant to do. Yeah. And if he doesn't, you know, sort of pull his socks up, sort of word I'm looking for, he will fail miserably.
Right.
So I remember thinking, damn, I don't want to fail miserably and I want to prove them wrong, you know, that kind of revenge element with teachers. So I borrowed some books off my friend Stephen McMullen and my mate Eric Johnson, who were my best mates at school. And Eric was my Jamaican friend. Steve was like Irish descent, so I called him Mutsy. That was his nickname. Yeah. I borrowed their books and I literally squatted up. I just squatted up quick. Like maximum 3 months, I reckon it was. Just squat. Took some notes, read their stuff, absorbed as much of it as I could, and got 7 of the O levels. You know.
Oh, okay, lovely.
So that proved them wrong, and then went on. I stayed on for A levels, but that bored me. After less than a year, I was like, I'm out of here. So in terms of school, I had the capacity. I look back now and think I did have the ability and the capacity to study, because later on in my life, I have ended up much later in life doing a Bachelor of Science degree. But the thing is, I've got the ability to study, but I think it was just probably a bit of boredom and looking for excitement elsewhere.
Was there pressure from your parents to pass everything, or were they cool with it?
I don't think they were cool with it, but they weren't the type of parents that exerted the pressure that I saw from other households.
Right.
Some of the African households, and like my friends, I told you my friends who are from Pakistan, there was more pressure on them.
Right.
And that had a positive effect on them because they did very well.
Yeah. But you still passed,
I did well in other ways, you know.
And what A levels you do?
I was going to do sociology. Yeah. And I think the other one was biology.
Right.
And the other one was, as it was called then, was food and nutrition.
Right.
Right, but basically it's cookery, it's food.
Oh, it's cookery.
I was so into that.
Right.
The idea of working with food and you know, the chef idea would kind of for a while excited me.
So are you like getting into fights in school or not? You just had a clean run?
Because I boxed, because my father was a boxer.
Right, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Come on, let's go there. Come on, look, he's kept that quiet. He was a plasterer about 10 minutes ago. He's changed his job sharpish, mate.
He was a plasterer, but my dad boxed all of his life through the 40s and 50s, and he turned pro. His pro career got hampered by a divorce, obviously his first divorce and some other things, but ultimately, his amateur career was very good. He was what they call open class, so you've reached the top of your game as an amateur. Okay. And his record was 112 fights and 90 wins.
Okay, that is a lot of fights, mate.
112.
Yeah.
And he won 90 of them.
Oh, wow.
So he was a very good boxer. So he ended up running a boxing club in North London, Alexandra Palace.
How was his pro career, sorry?
His pro career was just a few fights. He won a few, lost a few. Oh, yeah, there's a big gap where he's gone through this, obviously, the divorce. Right. And any boxer that goes through that and then comes back, it doesn't work out. Okay, right. So he ended up knocking it on the head, you know.
And he's got a gym, you say?
He had a gym, Alexandra Palace.
Okay.
And over 30 years, and many kids that went through that gym and learnt.
Anyone?
And my dad would take kids off the council estate and say, listen, you know, some of these kids I'm talking about that did the the mugging,
Right.
and the burglaries.
Yeah. You'd kind of get them into that.
Yeah,
type of
my
thing,
dad would take them off
disciplining.
street and say, "Come to box club." Some of them end up being some really tasty boxers.
Any names that we would know?
No,
or?
they didn't turn pro,
Right.
but they were good in their, in the amateur world in their day, and that got them on the straight and narrow for a number of years.
Yeah.
Some of them.
So are you going as well then? Is like dad saying you've got to train as well?
Oh, I just wanted to do it. I naturally gravitated
Okay.
towards boxing, and then I had a number of fights, and I enjoyed it, you know. But the thing is, I think by the time I reached my 20s, I was all boxed out. You've done so much of it, you're just done.
Are these fights in the ring or out the ring?
Oh, in the ring. There's a few out of the ring.
Out the ring. Okay, so did you know what you wanted to be then in school, or you just going with the flow?
I'm going with the flow.
Okay, so
I'm going with the flow.
Then
I've always been into music. That's the thing is, I loved music. I knew deep down I wanted to be around music, in the studios. I wanted to be
So what's your
the
first,
making of soul music, black music. That's all I wanted to be around.
what's your first kind of thing of getting into music? Your kind of memory, your first memory of something that maybe triggered you to say,
Okay, so we were consuming and buying a lot of records,
Right.
me and my friends, and we were listening to a lot of it, you know.
How old are you here?
I'm talking about my first record that I bought. I must have been about, I would say I was 8 or 9. My
Right.
mum and dad had their own record collections, and so that was eclectic as well, because there was stuff like John Holt, 1,000 Volts of Holt in there, reggae. There was all sorts in there, my
Right.
mum and dad's collection. My dad loved Johnny Mathis. He was his favourite singer.
Right.
So, and he liked the crooners. But I think my first record, round about 9, was Stevie Wonder's album Songs in the Key of Life.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. And Stevie Wonder's remained the greatest singer of all time for me.
Yeah.
You know.
I heard that.
And so it was that was going on. As it progressed into the 80s, a friend of mine, Derek was Jamaican friend of mine, bought his first bass guitar, bought his first keyboard. We would start to get into jamming. I had a guitar, I was learning that.
Right.
And we were just starting to experiment with making noise, and actually that's what it was then. It was noise, you know.
Right.
But it eventually sounded a bit like music.
But you're putting in the hours.
We're getting there, yeah, and we're buying music. And opposite the flats I lived, Hillside Estate, was a little record shop across the road, and they were R&B records.
Right.
And you're going to think that stands for rhythm and blues,
I
right?
am.
Okay. They were a middle class. They were not middle class. They were a middle-aged Jewish couple
Right.
called Rita and Benny.
The R&B.
R&B. And she really knew her lovers rock. She knew her reggae and she knew her lovers rock.
Right.
He really knew his soul and his jazz funk.
Okay.
So that's where we would buy our records.
Right.
And in the end, he would put a record to one side for me and say, so that I didn't have to go into one of those little booths. They had the booths there where you could put the earphones on, put the vinyl on, and listen to it. Eventually, he would just say, I've got one for you. And he knew what I liked. So it'd be a jazz funk record or a soul record,
Right.
coming in mainly from America.
Cool. So you've got a band going on?
Nope.
No, you're just jamming.
We're getting together, we're making noise.
And you can play instruments, or you?
I'm playing guitar and I'm working my way around the chords and.
So kind of,
all
how
of
long
that.
are you doing that for? Is it years?
The guitar I was doing, it bored me. You know, probably I suppose back then, if you diagnosed me back then, I'd be something like ADHD or something like that. But
Right.
the guitar eventually bored me, man. It's like after 3 or 4, and then I met guitarists who played it so brilliantly. I thought, well, you play that, and I'll do what I do. But my voice is developing at that time.
Right. So let's talk about the
singing.
voice. Oh, right. So when are you first starting singing?
Round 10, 11, 12, I'm singing along with records. I'm singing along with all sorts of records, and friends are noticing that I can mimic them quite well.
And what is that trigger? You just get on the mic, you want to be a singer?
Well, my mum had a stereo system with one of these little mics, and friends of mine had the same with the old stereo systems. And I would, just be singing along. And there was another girl on the estate, Maria Murray. She was a good singer. She could really sing along to sort of like Carol Thompson and all,
Right.
Your Love Was Rock.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all the vocals are the thing that I'm gravitating towards, and I'm singing along with these records and eventually developing my sound and my voice,
Yeah. So when does this get serious though? When do you think?
When does it get serious?
Because
It gets serious when one day it's round about 87, late 87 or getting into early 1988.
Right.
And
how old are you here?
So I'm about 19,
Right. So
20.
you're done with school.
done with school. I'm already in a 9 to 5. I left school
What
and I
did
was
you do
working.
for 9 to 5?
I worked. My first job was at the Williams and Glyn's Bank, where the Gherkin building stands. That wasn't there then.
Right.
It was just underneath that is a building called the Baltic Exchange, and I worked in there.
Right.
I worked at a bank.
Right.
And then from after banking, I went into another company, and I went into an accounts company working in accounts, and all of it bored me.
Right.
Massively.
Right.
But it's money.
Money.
You're earning. And it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
So, but my mind is now becoming more and more fixed and
On singing.
on singing. And how can I get into a studio and start to maybe cut some?
Right.
some
So you're
stuff.
really seriously considering
Yeah.
how you can do this. So then, how do you do that? Then do you go?
Okay, so I'm still living in Stamford Hill, more or
Right,
less.
parents.
Yeah.
Yep.
With my mum and dad, and I'm at my friend Dave Sassoon's grandma's house. His grandmother Myra. And his dad's there, Freddie Sassoon. They've all passed away, all of them now. Bless them. And I was in the kitchen, and Freddie's there, and I said, and Freddie goes, "What are you up to, Kenny?" I said, "You know what?" I said, "I actually, Freddie, I want to get into the studio, and I'm talking to someone, a friend of mine who was already in the studio doing some engineering production work, and I was hoping that would be the in. He was in a studio, I think it was down Tottenham way.
Yeah.
But Freddie was like, "Let me hear you sing." I thought, damn, this is a Simon Cowell moment of its day
Right.
back in '88,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
you know. So,
And
all
it's
right.
like Freddie known in the industry or something.
No, Freddie knew a lot of people. He was
Right,
a mover and
right.
shaker. He was always into the hustle, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And so basically, yeah, I said, well, look, I don't think Freddie had ever heard me sing. His son, David, had heard me sing loads,
Right,
but
right,
he'd
right.
never said anything to his dad. And his dad didn't live there with him, you know. He lived with his grandmother. So when he heard me sing, his mouth just went, he went, damn. He went, wow. He goes, he didn't even say, like, that's really good. He went, you come with me.
Come with me right
Come
now.
with me. I was like, where are we going? He's like, I've got someone I want you to see.
Straight away?
Yeah, he goes, and then we ended up going back to Freddie's house, which was further up towards Clapton.
Just to put an opinion on that, you are self-taught singing-wise. You're not
Yeah,
taking
I had no
lessons.
lessons.
You're literally just self-taught. Like with the keys and all of that. You just...
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Came
Right, go on.
natural. All the melodies and all of that came natural to me.
Right, fair enough.
Even writing, even songwriting back then, I was thinking of, you know.
Are you
lyrics
writing
and-
at this moment now, or you just singing?
No, I'm writing. I'm on the guitar, and I am definitely putting together structure and
Right.
songs. You
Okay,
know.
fair enough.
And
So go on. He takes you. He said, "Come with me
yeah,
right
and then
now."
we went to his house, and then he said, "Look," and I think he tried. If I remember right, he made a couple of calls that didn't get anywhere. And he said, "Look, just meet me back later tonight." And I remember it was winter; it was really cold. And he said, "Later tonight," he goes, "I'm going to take you over to Eddie Grant's studio." And Eddie Grant was a huge star.
Yeah.
Huge,
Right.
huge star. Now his whole studio was about 10 minutes from where I lived.
Eddie Grant, Electric Avenue.
Yeah, Electric
Okay.
Avenue. Yeah, living on the front line.
Right.
right back.
Okay. Big. Okay. So.
Oh, huge.
Right.
And Eddie Grant had made a lot of money and had a lot of success, and he built a huge studio in Barbados.
Right.
This wasn't that one.
Well, okay. Come with me. Let's get on the plane. Yeah.
This was the one that was in in North London,
Right.
not far from where I lived in in Clapton, that kind of area, near Clapton Common, because we'd moved from Stamford, it was just up the road, about 5-10 minutes anyway. And we went there. It was a winter's night, and me and Freddie trod the streets and went round there, knocked on the door, bang, 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 no answer. And he said, "Damn it, we'll do it another night." So I think the next night, or or 2 nights later, we went back there, and the door did open, and it was Patrick Grant. It was Eddie Grant's brother, who was still running the studio, which was called the Coach House.
Right.
And he was still making records there, and people were still recording there, although Eddie had moved on, and he came back and forwards to the UK, but Eddie was using his studio in Barbados.
Yeah.
And he just opened the door and he said, "Patrick, you got to hear this kid's voice, and we've got to
amazing.
make a record with
Yeah.
him." So we did. And he got a friend of his who had a jeweller's in Hatton Garden,
Right.
who had some money.
Yeah.
And this guy put up the money. He put up the money to pay for all the recording sessions and everything.
For you?
Musicians. Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Just because they believed in it, and they just were going to take a
So
punt.
are they managing you then? Are they?
No, I suppose unofficially, yeah. They're taking a punt and thinking this is going to be.
But if someone's putting the money in, do you know what I mean? Well,
But they had money. His mate had money. So.
But even then, someone puts in something. They want something in return, no?
Of course, and I think there's there's a certain unspoken
Rule
and willingness.
But there was no discussion about, I'm going to give you this money and you're going to give me X, Y back.
No, not as such.
He's just
no.
like, here, make
Yeah,
it.
let's do it.
And
it was on a kind of like just a wing and a prayer, you know.
And he wants you to make an album.
No, two tracks we recorded.
songs.
Yeah, 2 songs.
And he said, I'll pay for the studio session and everything.
Yeah.
How much for kind of studios then? Any idea?
I can't remember now, but they weren't cheap. You've got to pay for all the musicians individually, because also there was no like programming like you're doing now.
So all the
everything's laying down, the rhythm track, you know, your drums,
You've got to get a player in
drums
for each.
was electronic. We were using a Lin drum, an old machine that anyone who knows.
But overall, the instruments are being played.
Yes, bass, guitar, beat, backing vocals,
Right.
all of that.
And you cut
Keys.
You cut 2 records.
Yeah.
Right, and then how do they go?
And we walked them in naturally. Patrick made the introduction to President Records, which was a guy run by Ed
This
Kasner.
Patrick knows a lot of people, doesn't he?
Yeah, because obviously connected via his brother, and Freddie knew a few people. So, we ended up signing that into President Records. They took it, but they didn't have a clue how to work that kind of thing. A white boy doing soul music, and it had a pop edge. They didn't have a clue, and it fizzled. Do you know what I mean? They got it into a few clubs. I went down to London, heard a few DJs playing it, which was very interesting.
Prior to that, who is doing the soul music in the UK? Who are you looking up to? What are the kind of, do you know what I mean?
Well, the people I'm
benchmarks?
looking up to a lot, you know, you're hearing obviously Americans coming in, but you're looking at people like Jackie Graham, Junior Giscombe.
Right.
You're looking at Loose Ends, and a bit later, obviously, as we get into the late 80s, you've got the likes of Soul to Soul coming along. You've got the Brit Funk thing as well. You've got Light of the World, Incognito.
But a white guy doing it. Is there anyone out there that you can say, right, or are you one of the first?
Well, you've got the Americans. I mean, you've got Michael McDonald, and you've got Bobby
different.
Caldwell, and that. But here, no one really stuck out to me as doing proper
So you were the
soul
first.
music.
Let's have it right.
No.
Let's put it out there.
I don't know.
No, put it out there, man.
Yeah, I'd love to say that, but no, there wasn't.
Okay, but
there was another good singer called Clive Griffin who came out who was doing stuff around the same time as me in those early 90s.
Right.
He may have been before me doing music actually.
Right. So he takes those records to a record label and they sign the record. What do? They did distribute it.
They didn't do much.
Right. So what?
They honestly did not know what they were doing.
But what do they give you for signing it? Do you get any money from it, or is it nothing? They just literally taking it.
I think some of the recording costs got reimbursed. That was about it. So Sam got some of his money
So
back.
the songs out, it doesn't really do anything.
No, it was a complete failure, but a wonderful lesson learned, and yeah.
Is that disheartening for you? Are you kind of expecting to?
No, I didn't have the expectations of like this is going to be the big time and it's going to go off.
Right. You're just doing it.
You secretly would like things to do that, but I never had those expectations. So when it there was a disappointment because I would like it to have been the beginning of something we could build upon.
Right.
But it wasn't even that. So I eventually went back to work. I'd taken 3-4 months out to pursue it.
Oh, so you left work for this?
Yeah, it was long enough. 3 or 4 months to pursue all this was long enough.
Right.
And then I was like, you're running out of dough. And it's only so far you can go with a credit card. And I was just like, I'm going back to work. Damn this,
So you give up the dream.
Didn't give up the dream.
Right.
Didn't give up the dream.
You just give up that project, that chapter.
That moment in time, I realised I was kind of like, just coming back to square one and with a lesson learned and regrouping, if you like, and just so that I can
back to work
for a later offensive.
Are you working in the same place?
No.
Right. You find another job.
I landed a job at British Telecom.
Okay, BT.
And I'm working at Shaftesbury Avenue.
Right.
In the West End there.
What's at the tower?
No.
Oh, because the tower's around there, isn't it?
No, I was working in like one.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah, in one of their buildings.
Working there, just going
making
through
great
life.
friends.
Yeah.
Enjoying
living life.
it. Yeah, living like I'm, just part of the rat race, which actually was, which was okay.
How long
I
you
felt
that
normal.
for?
I was there for over a year.
Right.
But I'm still in the background making my connections.
Okay.
And trying to, to see how I can push.
Are you doing live shows
forward.
at all? Any kind of open mics? Okay, nothing. Literally just.
There wasn't a vast amount of that back then. If there was some of it, I didn't know of it.
Right. Okay. So
I did get up and sing at a few places a couple of times with friends, messing around and that, some things.
So then, when is the second attempt at this? When have you had enough?
Something
bad happened at work. You're like, fuck this. I'm going back to music.
Yeah. No, nothing bad happened at work, apart from the fact we had to work. That was the bad thing about it.
Yeah.
So I made some good friends there, and I'm still in touch with some of them to this day.
Yeah.
So what happened was my dad was obviously still doing the boxing and the Alexandra Palace Boxing Club, and he got a call one night by a friend of his that said, "Look, I've got this guy who's doing a bit of boxing, and he's going to come to a boxing show. I want you to look after him. You know, he's going to do. I think it was his first bout he was ever going to do. His name was Steve Finan.
Right.
And my dad's friend, I think his name was Georgie Carroll, and he's passed away now. So they all have, actually. A sign of me getting older, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he said to my dad, look, you know, take him to the bout, and because my dad was good with all that, great corner man.
Yeah.
He's top drawer, you know. And he said, his friend George said, look, just to let you know, this guy is also connected in the music game.
Okay.
And he's looking after some rapper.
Right.
Managing some rapper who's been in the charts.
Right.
So my dad's radar was like, great, you know.
Let me get, okay.
So he marked it. There we go. He's in the music game. Right, must remember to bring that up at some point. They're in the car on the way to the boxing show. And he came out those famous words that all parents do, is my son can sing.
Right.
And most moments in time, any manager will switch off at that point and go, oh man, I've heard this a million times.
Right.
But he had a conversation with my dad and said, what's he up to? I've recorded a few bits and pieces. And he said, you know what? He liked my dad, even though it was the first time he met him. My dad was a very charismatic and funny character. Yeah. And he said, you know what? My dad said, why don't you come round the weekend, come round for Sunday dinner? Okay. And he said, okay, I'll come. So that following Sunday, he came round for Sunday dinner.
Who was the rapper, FYI?
Moni Love.
Moni Love? Oh shit, okay, yeah, that's big. Okay, there, yeah. Okay, right, go on.
Well, Steve went on to be involved with Ice-T, he went on to be involved with, you know, the Jungle Brothers.
Yeah, okay, there you go, lineage, but Moni Love, is shit, okay, right.
So she'd had one or two hits, either Grandpa's Party or I can't remember the earlier ones.
It's a Shame came after.
It's a Shame came after that.
Okay.
Still before me. It's a Shame was a hit before my time. You know?
Right, go on.
Not long before, and so he came round. He listened to what I was doing, and he said, "Hey, you know, you got a really good voice."
Does he hear the songs, or does he make you stand up and do the Simon
Cowell? No, I played him the songs.
Right.
And he was like, "They're not cutting it. They're nice, but they're not cutting it. It's not where we want to be." But your voice is really good, and I think the light bulb went on and thought, "Hey, you know, there's mileage here."
Okay, we love that.
So. He said, let's see what we can hook up.
Okay.
So he did. He hooked me up with a young producer who's looking after, at the time, called Richie Fermi. And we said, let's get together and just demo something at least.
Right.
So we went into a studio in Camden, if I remember right. Firstly, it was Camden. Yeah. And we said, let's pick a cover. Let's pick a cover version of something to make it easy. Right. So we're not going to spend the next 5-6 months writing something that, you know, that doesn't come off. And we can cut to the chase, you know. We did. We went into that studio and we cut a Johnny Guitar Watson record, which is called Ain't That a Bitch. Lovely tune, lovely vibe, you know, funky. And we did a nice version of it, but it ain't going to work on Radio 1, Capital Radio, Kiss, Ain't That a Bitch. It just wasn't going to work, that title. But it was a nice vibe. And then he ended up speaking to a DJ friend of his called Glenn Gunner. And he said, Glenn, what tune do you play every time? You know, a soul classic that's a floor filler. And he said, every time I play the Gap Band's Outstanding, it's a floor filler. Right. And it had been a minor hit for them in something like 85, 86. So Steve said, what do you think about cutting that? And I was like, whoa, immediately, it's just like, that's untouchable. Okay. If you want to commit suicide, in the world of soul music, touch something like that. You know.
Why? Because it's so iconic?
Because if you don't, it's a big record that. If you've either got to pull it off or
the equivalent
or leave town.
Is this the equivalent of someone trying to do a Whitney Houston tune or something like that? Do you know what I mean?
Kind of.
I'm just trying to get,
in the kind of soul,
like
black music world of, especially the underground street soul. Yeah. It was a big record. It still is. It's an amazing record. And Charlie Wilson, the singer of it, is just off the charts.
And you cut it.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so
because you've either got to have an enormous amount of courage or you've got to be completely insane. So I fell into that later category. I was completely insane.
Are you aware that if you do this wrong, it's over for you? Or you just literally...
Yeah, it runs that risk.
Yeah.
And then we got... they brought a percussionist down to the studio. We went and recorded it in Ventura Studios in Acre Lane, Brixton. And they brought a percussionist down. First time I met him, came in the room full of life and energy. A guy called Shovel. He eventually becomes part of M People.
Okay, look at that. Right, okay.
Yeah, so And he played on a record, and he just brought it to life with
Right.
the you know, the congas and
Yeah.
having the bongos and stuff. So amazing. And the record just took shape. And naturally, Steve Finan walked it into Cool Tempo Records, Chrysalis Records, Cool Tempo, where Moni Love was sitting positioned with her deal
Right.
and her hits, and it was the natural home for that record.
Right. Do they sign the record or
They do, yeah. They sign it.
how much you signed
Just
it
the
for?
one record.
Any idea? Or
It wasn't
just-
a lot of
it's
money.
not
I
about
think it
that?
was. I'm not sure if there was any in it.
Are
It
you
was
just letting them do the other side of the kind of management or the pushing side of things?
Well, Steve was you know, second to none in management. So essentially, you know, he could just crack on with that, and I could
Right.
focus in on my thing.
Right.
I don't think it was vast amounts of money in it. It was obviously more of a commitment to, look, we'll spend some money on pushing it. We'll spend some money
Yeah.
on a video. We'll spend some money on photo shoot and all
you
of
mean.
that. And my first photo shoot was Normski. Normski did my
Oh,
first.
did he?
Yeah.
No way. That's crazy.
It was all very much on a hustle.
It's
and a
great
wing
how
and
you've
a-
got these legends in it around you,
Yeah,
and you all
and-
come up together kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's all like pulling together, you know. A lot of it's
Yeah.
done on a shoestring, you know.
yeah. Okay, so the record comes out. How does
Comes
it do
out.
then?
Badly.
It does badly.
Yeah, it's growing in the clubs, and it's growing, and it's got, like, you know, sort of heat on the street, as they were
Yeah.
saying. It's got momentum. It's building.
Right.
So it's either that we put it out too early,
Right.
or just something didn't click.
Early how? What do you mean? Just the timing of it?
Yeah, the timing of it. Maybe we should have let it build the momentum
Right.
and just let that build up in the clubs,
Right.
which it was doing.
Yeah.
And then it failed, so it went 79 and out, which is really pretty
79,
bad.
okay.
79 in the charts.
So how do you take that?
Remember back then, you could go in the charts low and you could climb.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
get lucky,
When you
get
build
top
the
of the
record.
pops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you make your way
But
up
this
to the
is
top 10.
79. It's not top
79
40.
and it's good night.
Is that
Nurse.
considered a fail?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How do you take that? Because it was a record that really
Stoically. No, I mean
stoically. That's okay, stoically. Yeah. Are you kind of disheartened with it?
Oh yeah, because you've done a lot of work. You're going up and down the country, and you're doing clubs. You know, a PA, like personal appearances and performances in club after club. Sometimes 3 or 4 a night.
But it was a record you knew really that you shouldn't touch.
In front of audiences, yes. But in front of audiences that kind of don't care if you're there, maybe 1 or 2 might be interested. You're building, you know, trying to build up a fan base.
Yeah.
So we're doing an enormous amount of graft on the road.
Have you quit work at this point? as well?
Oh, damn it, yeah. I'm out. of
Damn
there.
that.
I'm out.
Right. Okay. Cool. Right. So you're building
Yeah,
a graph,
that wasn't going to work.
and it's not doing anything. Yeah. It's literally like the song's not.
It's building.
It's not resonating.
It's building in the clubs.
Are you getting the criticism from people like, why are you covering that
No.
record? No.
No.
Everyone's cool.
No, it was none of that really. It was just building in the clubs. It was
Right.
just maybe it just needed more time to do that.
Okay.
And then what happened was the DJs. So who was working my records at the time was Simon Dunmore.
Right.
Now, I don't know if you know who he is, but yeah, it's Big Bananas, that is.
Right.
So Simon Dunmore was my sort of club promotions guy at Chrysalis at Cool Tempo. He's responsible for the record, how it's going in the clubs,
Right.
the remixes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes on eventually to form. He works at AM, AM, PM,
Right.
and he goes on to form Defected
Right.
and Glitterbox.
Okay. Well, that's that.
Yeah, it's
Defected is
different levels,
Right.
you know. So Simon's working it, and he's getting calls from DJs saying, "This record's massive.
Okay.
This record's massive. You've got to put it back out. You've got to put it out again."
What one? The outstanding one.
Yeah, they were saying the outstanding. Yeah, you've
So
got to
it
re-release
leaves the
this.
charts. You forget about it, and then how long after is he getting these calls?
Meanwhile, we're thinking about recording other records. We start to look at, you know, other songs.
Right.
But we go back to Outstanding. Well, we never left it because it was built. The momentum was building so big and so fast.
But it's out the charts though.
Oh, that's gone. That's gone. That's history, man.
Roughly how long is that gap? That's what I'm trying to establish. A month? A few months?
No, it's a good few months.
Okay.
Not many. I mean, I'd have to go through.
Okay, and in this time you're a bit
I'd have to go
disheartened.
through some Discogs online and stuff.
Right.
But it's a few months.
And you're a bit disheartened, right? Because obviously the record hasn't done what.
Well, the record company haven't given up. They're like, the A&R man believes in me, you know.
Right.
Ken Grumbaum, he believes in me, and he, you know, he's a big soul fan. So he knew they had something. They knew my voice was unique in some respects. It's just getting the right records together.
But he's saying go back in the studio.
See, these were the days when record companies would develop stick with you, wouldn't ditch you after one hit,
loyalty,
all of that, you know,
build you up. Let's
or
go
after
back.
no hits.
Let's go back to the drawing board, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in your mindset. You're going to go back to the drawing board.
So what we're doing is we're going to re-release it. So Simon Dunmore says, well, let's get a rap on it. And so they fly over to New York with the multi-tracks, as you did back then. There's no WeTransfer and internet back then. Didn't exist, man.
You get on the plane.
Mobile phones were about that big, aerials like that, and you thought you were the nuts walking around with it. Hello, you know.
Yeah.
So we went over to New York. Steve Finan went over to New York with it, and they got the Black Sheep to rap on it, a hip hop band over there.
Right.
And they rapped on it in the middle of the record.
Yeah.
Short rap. Came back, remixed it, rejigged it, remastered it, new sleeve, you know what I mean?
Right.
A bit of artwork. Let's go again.
Right.
This time, things going off.
It's going off.
Just, another push. It just needed another push because it was already swelling in the clubs.
Did you think that it would do that, or did you think this record's done? Like,
no, because we're still going around and doing the promotional
stuff.
We're doing club after club. I've got Shovel with me now, playing percussion, me and him on the stage.
Right.
Sometimes we're working it hard, up and down the country.
Right.
You know, lucky if you get paid, getting knocked for dough. Yeah. Some audiences wanting you there, some not. But what we're beginning to see over that period of time is in the club it's big, and we're starting to pull punters in, and they're wanting to see you. Yeah. And it's a real sort of, it ain't like, you know, people flicking coins at you anymore, you know.
Right. So the record comes out, goes off.
Yeah. It goes in and it's climbing, it's climbing, it's climbing.
Where does it climb to?
If I remember right, it gets to something like 11, which was pretty good back then. Seriously
Number
good.
11 in the charts?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You're battling
what do you
big
mean
records
pretty
with
good?
big artists.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, so how is that? That's a top 20 record.
Yes.
So how is that for you then, to just be like...
Amazing, because we then get our first TV. It's then Kiss FM pick up on it, Capital Radio, Radio 1. It's going off, you know, it's a big record.
And what TV doing? Just...
Top of the Pops I did.
Right.
No, the first one was Hitman and Her. Do you remember that? You're old enough to remember that?
No.
Thank goodness you don't remember it.
No. Right.
It was like one of those shows late in night of just like filming in nightclubs, and Pete Waterman and Michaela Strachan, and people would sit up all night and watch it, and they, you know, if they've managed to get their kebab and avoid a punch up, they'd get home to watch Hitman and Her.
And then do you get Top of the Pops for the same record, or is that a different
Yeah,
record?
I got Top of the Pops.
Okay, so how is that then? Because that is the iconic, that's
amazing.
That's the benchmark.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So how was that for you getting the news right? We're going to do Top of the Pops.
Yeah, you got it's a pinch yourself moment, because that's the show you grew up watching everyone on.
Yes.
And you know, and all the icons, you know, the legends of the game.
Right. You go on Top of the Pops.
Yeah, you kind of, in your mind as a kid, Top of the Pops, you've arrived. Well, you haven't really.
No, I agree.
It's just a stepping stone.
Completely agree. So did you feel like that you've arrived?
Yeah, you've got somewhere finally.
Okay. How does it go?
Not top.
But it's like a top 20 record. You're being invited to Top of the Pops. Yeah. You're in BBC. Yeah. How was that experience for you? Are you kind of nervous, or is it?
Yeah, I think I was nervous. I didn't really experience a lot of nerves back then. And I have never really, only one gig that I ever have proper nerves, but that was the Albert Hall, when I was singing alongside some other artists like Freddie Jackson, Lala Hathaway, Lonnie Liston Smith, and Edwin Starr, and there's some big stars on that show. And my bottle went a bit that night. Right. But the
understandly.
Yeah.
But like Top of the Pops,
not really. It's just like an energy, you know. It's like you can channel it, and you're into it, and you can push that into performance. So it's more an excitement.
And then how is that for your parents to see you? That must be a wonderful thing. Do you know what I mean?
Amazing.
Son's out there, he's on the biggest channel. Okay, cool. Record does well. So then what? Is it kind of just on to the next? Your label's saying right.
Yeah. And with that record's going off, it's also, as you probably know, once it's done here, it's also beginning to get traction and heat in other countries.
Right.
So you're doing a bit of that, hopping abroad to promote it.
Where are you going?
Europe mainly.
Yeah.
You know, we're going over to Germany, to France, and stuff like that. And then that's doing well. And then you're realising now we've got to get moving and we've got to make another record.
Right. Just prior to that, who's kind of paying for all this travel and all stuff like that?
Record company.
A record company.
Well, you are.
You are?
Yeah. They're paying for it. Well, you don't know. It's just always a loan.
Right. And are you aware of this loan situation, or are you just going with it?
Yeah, because Steve was a great manager, and he, made you as aware as you needed to be. But then, when you're like 20, 22, whatever I was, 22, 23, you're just thinking, damn it, man, I just want to you know, I just want to let loose here. I'm going for it. We'll worry about that debt later on.
Okay, you worry about it. You just
Yeah, like a lot of artists, don't worry about that. You know, put it on the card, man.
Yeah, and let's just rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear that.
Let's get on with this.
All right. So
Because also there's that belief that this is going to be bigger than
that.
Yeah, there's that self-determination and sort of like that belief that this is going to be bigger than that one-hit record, you know.
Sure.
I didn't want to be a one-hit wonder. I knew that.
And you've got a taste of it now, so I suppose when you get a taste of it,
the
it's
bits
like,
between your teeth.
right, and you really want it. Right. Okay. So what? Are you back in the studio then?
Yes.
And then
we're
what?
constantly back in the studio. We're exploring other records,
Right.
other ideas, doing lots of writing. I'm travelling over to South London to work with Ian Green, who's the guy who ended up producing the Voices album, the first album. And we're writing some good ideas and getting things together. And then obviously what pops up is the second single, Thinking About Your Love.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't write that. I wish I did.
Oh, you didn't write it.
That's a ka-ching moment. That
Right. So that's the big one, right? So what? It's just presented to you. What is it? It's already written.
It's already written and it's been demoed by a singer, and the record company have heard it. And Steve Finan found it in waste paper in the bin of the office.
He found the song in the bin.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Right, he found.
They binned it, man.
So the record labels binned the song, basically.
Kind of. I don't know whether they really gave it a proper listen. I don't know what happened, but Steve's in there and he's waiting for a meeting, thinking, you know, they're waiting for something to come in for a meeting. And he's looking around like you do, and there's a bin over there. And he sees some tapes, and one of them says "Thinking About Your Love" on it. And he just goes, right, let's fish that out of there. And while he's waiting in the meeting, he just stuck it in the cassette player. I thought, this song's all right.
Right.
And then he said, you bin this, you know, when they come in, he said, what did you bin this one for? This is all right.
And they go,
you know, whatever they come up with.
So he goes,
and he said, well, look, you know, let's do it. So we did. We went and cut the first demo with Steve Mack, a producer called Steve Mack. If you don't know that name, he's big. He's big. Well, his more recent hits are Ed Sheeran and all of that.
Right.
You know, Shape of You and stuff like that. So he's huge.
Yeah.
He's huge. And Steve Mack is only a youngster. He's about 17 then.
Right.
But he's had one hit in that previous year. He was about 16 when he had the hit. I'm pretty sure my facts are correct here. And that was Nomad, I Want to Give You Devotion.
Oh, that's massive as well.
Yeah. So he had that hit.
Right.
So we went and demoed it with him.
Mack, you know, yeah, right.
We went and demoed that with him.
Right. How are you finding these people? Is it just the industry, just the
Great,
small...
man.
Huh?
That's great. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how are you finding these people? Like, are they just on the come up like you?
Yeah, they're on the rise.
Right.
And people in the music industry are in the know.
Yeah.
And how am I finding the experience? Man, it's great. I'm in and out where I always wanted to be, in and out of studios.
Yeah.
Meeting some really lovely people and very talented people. You know. And we did the demo. It was okay. Didn't quite hit the mark of what the record company wanted.
Right. No, so you record the demo, take it back to the record company.
Yeah.
Right. Shout it to them.
It wasn't nothing to do with Steve Mack as such. It was just maybe we just didn't approach it right, and maybe it was before its time. Listen, you work with Steve Mack now. You're a worldwide superstar.
Oh yeah.
You know, I can't afford him now.
He owes you a favour, surely.
yeah. Steve, take me back.
Have you got that demo somewhere, or is it?
No, I don't know where that is.
Okay, it's interesting.
They were a lot of them were on the cassettes.
Yeah.
They just
fair. Okay, so the label's not feeling it.
No. So what they do is we've got to come up with the right fit, production-wise.
Right. Is it vastly different to what we hear now? The demo?
No, not.
What did you say?
It's more about
80%?
Yeah, it's just more about the beats and the sounds and the keyboard parts and.
Right.
I mean, the original demo that my manager found in the bin.
Yeah.
That was really different. I'd love to find that cassette.
That was
it was
really
a female singing it as well.
The whole song.
Yeah, it was a female, and it was very, very different. It was.
Yeah.
Didn't sound like how we made it sound in the end, but. In the end, what they said was, we've got to find the right fit, the right production fit.
Yeah.
And so you think they're going to go to Jam and Lewis or, you know, America or
was it an American
Babyface?
Was it an American singer on it?
No, it was English.
On the demo. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So you think, well, they're going to pull Jam and Lewis out the bag here because you grew up listening to Alexander O'Neal doing his thing. That's what we need. No, we didn't have the budget for Jam and Lewis.
Right.
So they ended up going, and it was a very unusual pairing, if you like, with them. And they went to Mike Percy and Tim Lever, who were originally the band members of Dead or Alive.
Okay.
You spin me right round, baby, right round.
Yeah.
So you think, wow, we're trying to make a soul record that's pop, and they're known for that. But they actually were really good.
Right.
Very good with their sounds, very good with their production, understood the genre, and had a lovely studio set up over in Beaconsfield, and that's where we cut the record.
But the first time when you take the demo and they don't like it, they ask you to just tweak it, so they're still interested in the record.
Well,
They
the record company
what...
are kind of like, because they're A&R in it, doing the artists and repertoire, they are driving, along with Steve Finer, my manager, they're the driving force behind things. So they're looking for the right fit, and they found it with Mike and Tim, and they had this setup called One World Productions, and then, as you say, the rest is history. That record was made, and that was the
So you just literally sing it word for word? Yeah? Happy
I
with
do
it?
my own thing, my own ad-libs,
Of course.
shape it, I vibe it out my own way.
When you record it, do you think it's a hit in your mind, or how do you feel?
It had a certain magic about it, it had a certain feel, and again, they did the right thing. They got a backing vocalist called Tracy Ackerman,
right?
And she had a brilliant voice, and you could say that really her voice, along with mine on the record, is a signature of the tune. It gives it its flavour and its sound, and it was just it's just right for its time. And of course, the clubs were well primed. Remember back then, you're talking. So in 91, you're talking what, 35,000 nightclubs, something like that. I think the figure is.
Yeah.
It's under 2,000.
Not anymore now, mate. Yeah.
It's under 2,000.
It's true, mate.
So it was about 35,000 if my
what a time to be alive. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And you're doing most of them.
Right.
Some of them are glamorous and amazing. Some of them you have to wipe your feet on the way out of the venue.
Yeah.
And you're doing that night after night, weekend after weekend, and you can see how big Outstanding is. So it was well primed. The foundation
and your
was
name's
set.
known. You're out there. You've
It's
been on top
there.
of the pops.
Yeah, you've done top of the pops.
Yeah. So the song comes out. When are you aware you've just done a volcanic eruption of music? You know what I mean?
I think that when you start to land the big playlists on your Radio 1s at the time, and your Capitals
is that quite soon after then?
Yeah, that record's going.
And the label's working all of that. You're just obviously just doing
and that record's going off here. It's going off in other countries. You're doing Top of the Pops. I don't know if I did it once or twice. I ended up doing 9 Top of the Pops in total in the end, but I may have done 1 or 2 for Thinking About Your Laugh.
When do you realise that this is the monster? Is there a turning point for you, or is it?
I think when you see it climbing the charts like it did, and then eventually.
So where did it go into?
I think it got to number 4.
Number 4, but where did it start at? Was it kind of high up?
Oh, that's a good question. That
you don't know. Are we talking like 70s, 80s, or
no?
Top 40s?
It got in. It was in the top 40, I think.
Right.
In the top 40, and it's climbing. You
right.
know, and obviously the different things that sort of propel it and give it that kind of, that kind of movement is your Top of the Pops, your chart shows.
Yeah.
Kids TV,
and
all of those things, radio interviews.
And you're getting invited to all of them.
Yeah.
Working them all.
You're doing all of them.
Number 4 in the charts. How is that for you? Top 10, top 5 artists?
Yeah, it's amazing. And obviously you're up there with the big players. And I think you've got lots of your Mick Hucknalls and even your Jason Donovans who are selling volume.
Big numbers.
Huge amount of volume of records. So you're competing with them, And sometimes you can see there's only a few records in it. Stopping you from being number 3 might be 20 records.
Yeah, right.
Or 100.
Are you
Sometimes
aware
the
of the
gap's
number
bigger
or not?
than that.
Are you aware of the number or not?
They used to, I did not now, I can't remember now, but at the time you realise you've only been beaten by a handful of records.
Right, and who was number 1 then? Just so we can get
I've got all of that indoors, all of my
It's got in the scrapbook.
Cut, yeah.
Okay.
All in boxes in the loft, admittedly. Yeah, all of that. I can't remember now.
Okay.
But you've got your Mariah Careys and all those out at that time. There's some big stuff going on.
So how is that going against
You're
Globe?
up against some big players and big sellers.
And you're holding your own as well. Let's have it right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how is that for you? Like, you are literally on the same level as the global artists. Is that something that you take in?
You're on the level. In the UK charts. You're certainly on level with them visually and sales wise. But are you actually on a level with them in real terms?
Well, you tell me in your own ego.
No, you're not.
Okay.
No, you're not. In my mind, no. There's a long way to go. I've always known I'm going to go a long way because there's a long way to go.
Right.
So it's for me. I know there's things that need to happen. You know, the touring needs to kick in. You need to be more familiar with that side of things. All of those things are not really in place. You're having the chart. You imagine you're having the chart hits and you're having the records, but there's still other things that need to fall into place. Like my first major gig with a band was the Albert Hall. I'd never been in the Albert Hall before.
Right.
And I'm there on stage, and I got Freddie Jackson in the audience watching me. You try that out. You check that out. That's, you know, that's nervy. That.
Yeah.
And I bought his records.
Yeah.
And now I've got these people watching me, and it's like, and you're on the show with them.
But it's all eyes on you, though.
That's worrying. That.
Yeah. Is it something that you think about, or you just literally?
I just got on with it.
You just got on with it.
Yeah.
Because you're a bona fide pop star now. Yeah. Let's have it right.
Yeah, you're getting there. Yeah,
You are.
there.
What
Yeah,
do you
you're
mean getting there? You got top 4. You got top 4.
yeah, you've had your first 5 minutes of the 15 minutes of fame.
Right. How is that to digest, especially in those times? Do you know what I mean? Is this the 80s or 90s?
This is 90s. This is 91.
Right. Because you are the man.
So yeah, you kind of like you notice things are changing and people are following you around Tesco's with their trolleys and stuff.
What like things are
There's no phones with cameras back then, thank goodness.
Right. And are you being hounded then?
Oh yeah, you'd have people camping outside your door and that. By then I bought my own place and I'd moved out and.
Where?
First place I bought, I was living in St Albans.
Right.
But I just hated driving back into King's Cross and Caledonian Road into the studio every night, and eventually moved back into North London. I nestled up and plotted up in Finchley.
Right. And the name is just your name. Is that your name, or is that your proper name, or is that the artist name?
Yeah, that's my name. No, they did try and change my name.
Oh, did they too?
They wanted to. They made some insane, some silly suggestions. I can't even remember. They were so hideous. I was like, that ain't happening.
What's this? The label saying let's change your name.
They said this sounds too much like a. They said it sounds too much like a footballer. I said, you wish I was a footballer on their money.
Give me the
wish.
Give me the footballer money.
You know that.
Any ideas of the names that they're throwing at you?
Oh, it was mad.
Are they like one-word names and that, or they're just?
Yeah, one of them was Gamal.
What?
But you've got like in the 80s you've got Lamal. Why would you have Gamal? And Gamal's just like something out of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, my name, that is my name.
Right.
That's, I was born with that name.
Okay, and then the record label wise.
I'm using that name.
Obviously, that's your bloody name, isn't it? And then the record label wise, are you aware of the money situation, or are you just still riding this wave? Because this is a big record.
I know. I mean, the album was big, because after that we come with another hit. Right. We come with Best of You.
Yeah.
Which was a hit, and then we come with Tender Love.
What did that do in the charts?
Best of You, I think it got to 12 or 11 or 12.
Right, and then
that would have been bigger than all of them.
Right.
That was on course to be bigger than all of them, but the album came out.
Right.
So no one would go and buy the single, but you could buy the album.
Right.
So that kind of stole the thunder of Best of You, but Best of You was going to be.
Who wrote that? You?
No, that was originally a Booker T.
Okay.
Booker T. Jones record.
So that's a top 20, and then the one after that is a what? A chart.
11.
Right.
And then you've got the one at Christmas, Tender Love, which is like in the 20s, but that's really difficult to get in the 20s at Christmas because you're out with the biggest.
So you've got 5 records from the album.
4.
4 are top 20 hits. Yeah, safe to say?
3 were top 20 and Tender Love was something like 27.
Okay, big records.
So all top 30, all 3 top 20s and 1 top 30.
And the album's out. The album does well?
Double platinum, yeah.
Double platinum, that's what I'm talking about. And just to have it right, how many do you have to sell to go platinum?
Back then, I don't know what the figures are now, it was 6, to go platinum was 300,000.
Right, 600,000 albums. How is that for you? Because you've definitely landed now. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear this humble approach, man. Do you know what I mean?
I remember when it's hard when you're dealing with numbers and figures and stuff, you know. It's when it really dawned on me was when I went to a concert. Someone gave me some tickets and said, do you want to go and see U2? Right. Back then, and they were doing Wembley Stadium. And I went to see them, and there was like, the audience was about 100,000 people. And I remember sitting there thinking, 6 times this amount bought my album. That's when it really hit me, and I think, wow, that's a lot of people, that. Yeah. That's a lot of people.
You just come a bit closer, the cameraman's getting a bit, you know what I mean? Okay.
You pick him up all right?
Yeah. He's got you. Okay, so then you get that realization of this, like, this is how big you are. Yeah. And then money-wise, I guess, because that is a lot of sales. Are you aware of, do you know what you've signed? Do you,
yes.
What's going on?
So the mad thing about it is you're doing Top of the Pops, you've done a couple of Top of the Pops and all the rest of it. And I was still only on a retainer of £100 a week.
Right, hold on. Let's break this down.
Yeah.
So the label's giving you £100 a week, and you're doing all of this stuff. You're not getting paid for the shows.
You start to pick up some money eventually for the shows and for PAs, and that's becoming decent. So it's always like it's growing. But for quite some time, I was on £100 a week. You know, I was at the early stages this is before I bought my own place, and I was still living with mum and dad and stuff like that. So that was kind of keeping me going. It was like that for some time, but then eventually, you're earning money from gigs. And then at some point, royalties are going to start landing.
Right. So how much are you earning from gigs? In kind of album mode. Any idea?
I don't know. You're getting a few £100 and you're getting 750s, and eventually
that
making up
seems
to
a bit low.
£1.
Is that
Back
standard?
then? That's like 90, 91,
Yeah,
92.
true, that is
Yeah,
true,
you do
yeah.
a couple of them a night. It's not bad, is it?
It's not bad cash money, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're starting to build up on things, and then royalties can start to land. And then I remember getting get some publishing money from publishers for some of the writing I did.
Are you aware of all this stuff? The publishing and the royalties?
Yeah, you've got a great account, and then you can see it starting to land in the bank.
So how much money's coming in the first time? But what's your big lump sum that you've seen? Like, oh shit.
My first check, I got a check for 20 grand.
Right.
I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
Right.
And I remember looking at it going, wow, 20 grand.
Yeah, of course.
But eventually you're starting to, earn more than that.
What's the biggest check you get?
The biggest one I got back then, it was 197 grand.
Okay. We love to see it.
Yeah, 197 grand.
Right.
It was 197 grand, but massive. I remember the tax on it was massive. But
Okay,
that enabled me, with that, I was able to buy my first place, a cottage, and I bought it outright, owned it, lock, stock and barrel.
Just straight in that. See, I love that for you. Because did you scum it on anything else?
Right.
Are you kind of
okay, so I'm not a car, I wish I'm not like JK. I love JK. He's amazing. And he knows his cars.
He knows.
I'm not a car man. I've never been a car man.
Right.
For me, they're a means to anything. Can it get me from there to there? I've had great ones and I've had bangers. Guess what? They all got me from, most of them got me from A to B.
Yeah.
So I've never been, driven, for want of a better word, that way.
Sure.
Mates of mine have, and they'll tell you the latest this, the latest that. So I've never been into that. But I knew getting a roof over my head was important.
Right.
And also, the other thing with money is, so this is where you've got to be careful. You don't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing.
Right.
But it enabled me to, over the years, to help people. You know what I mean?
As in help?
Yeah, that need.
Right.
There's always someone that's going to need more than us. And so it enabled me to do things for the family and, you could be a very wealthy man if you didn't do much for people.
Right. But you helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then I guess
no point being the richest man in the graveyard. No point.
And then some people would say that kind of is never ending, isn't it? When people want to help. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to be careful because there'll be people that want to drain and take a lot. But it's a good thing to be in that position finally to be able to help and do things. And so there was that. You're looking after yourself. You're looking after others.
And you're looking after your family, your parents. We love that.
Yeah.
Where do you buy the house?
The first one was in.
First one. That's how we know.
Oh, that was in St Albans.
Right.
Nice place. It's not what it is now. It was different back then. Now it's very affluent, and I should have kept that one. That was a keeper.
You sold it.
That was a keeper.
Oh, why?
That was a keeper. But when you're falling out of nightclubs in the 90s at silly o'clock in the morning.
How much you buy it for?
Oh man, you don't want to know.
Go on, hurt me.
67 grand.
Wow. What is it? A house?
It was a 2-bed cottage.
How much would that be worth now, roughly?
Damn.
Not to hurt you. In St Albans.
There's 6 zeros after it, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
There's 6 zeros. It's got to be million.
6 is a million. Okay.
It's got to be $1 million plus.
Wow.
It's the one that got away, man.
But I don't care wasn't a girl.
Listen, I've got more years behind me than in front of me. I don't care anymore. It's like what's done is done.
And then how many kind of properties do you own?
Hey?
How many properties do you own now, if you don't mind?
No, I'm not. I've never got into that now. I did have another property elsewhere, and I had to. My daughter was ill diagnosed unwell in 2017. She's still battling cancer now for the last eight and a half years almost. Right. So I had to sort of get rid of things back then. I thought, right, lay my hands on as much as possible. Yeah. We were going to Germany for treatment, so I had to do some of that. So yeah.
But you're spending wisely, investing wisely.
Yeah.
That's the great thing.
But it's one of those, my careers now, you look back on it in the 90s and you say, well, look, probably probably it could have done with a very good forensic audit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you look at it, you say, let's do some mathematics here,
Yeah.
you know. Let's have a think about what it's sold, what that looks like, and what really trickled down to us.
Do you think you're still owed money then? Because there's a lot of that going on.
Right. Every artist is still owed money.
Right.
Make no bones about it. If they dig deep enough, you're all owed money. Whether you can find it and whether you can get past the enormous amount of brick walls you'll hit.
Yeah.
You're all owed money.
Yeah.
Because just naturally the way that it is done in record companies and where it lands is not even by deliberate, you know, sort of malpractice. I think even just by human or even error, just the way it happens, money goes missing.
And then I guess the songwriter for like thinking about your love and all of that is probably earning like a lot.
Yeah, we're going to Barbados. Yeah, he's off, man. He done well, you know.
They've got 2-3 houses in St Albans. Okay, cool. Album's out. You're a bona fide pop star. You touring the world, or Europe?
We're getting around Europe. A bit of this, bit of Southeast Asia, a bit of Africa, South Africa.
And then how is that going to other kind of territories and realising your songs travelled? Do you know what I mean?
That's great when you realise, you know, what music can do.
Yeah.
And where it can get to and the audiences it can reach. It's amazing. And even more so now, you know, with the internet.
What are the standout countries that you kind of went to that stick in your head, resonate with you?
Well, I had a hit. The hit in France was nice to have a hit in France. Difficult to have a hit there.
Right.
And that was good. I mean, definitely going over to your Thailands and your Southeast Asia, you know, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and all those things are wonderful, you know.
Yeah.
But the European gigs will always be special. Some of the festivals are great, you know.
Right. What does the album chart? Sorry, I don't think we answered that question.
Oh, the album.
Any idea?
That's a good thing.
No.
I can't remember now.
Can we guess? Is it a top 40?
Google it.
Is
No, it's right up there. It's a big record.
Like a top.
Yeah,
10?
I've got it at home somewhere.
Gabs, Google it, please. Kenny Thomas debut album. What was the album?
It came in above Mariah Carey. I remember that.
Well, then we got to talk about it.
I remember looking at that, thinking, "Damn, I've come in higher than Mariah Carey." We're up there in the top 10.
What was the album called?
Voices.
Voices. Kenny Thomas Voices chart position. We want to know. Okay, so it's like top.
Tell the truth.
Guess. Go on, guess though. Prior to him saying it.
Was it 3, 4?
Okay. 3.
3. Okay. I thought it was somewhere like that. But
do we know who beat it or not?
Don't say Jason Donovan. Jason, I'm coming to get you, man.
We'd be Technicolor G.
Technicolor G-string, did you say?
No, I definitely did. But okay, whilst he does that, how is that top 3 album, man? Come on. Like you are.
Yeah, that's great.
Are you like famous, walking the streets? Is it? Do you know what I mean?
That's a really good question because it's like, it's almost like there was an article done in the Times, Sunday Times, by a journalist called Alan Jackson, and he said Kenny Thomas has achieved, you know, enormous success. Words to that effect, I'm paraphrasing, but enormous success by stealth. It's almost like I was like,
where'd he come from?
Where'd he come from, and where'd he go, and where is he? It's kind of one of those. So I did Wogan, did Jonathan Ross, did every breakfast TV show you could think of. I did all Top of the Pops, you name it, all the kids' TV shows. And yet there were times where you was noticeable or invisible.
Is that a good thing though?
Good for me
because
fame is an unfortunate byproduct of hit records.
Right, and did you want that fame? Because some people yearn it, some people, you know what I mean?
No, it was nice. I always thought it was like a coat that I'm going to wear that tonight. And then there's other nights where there's nights where you think I'm not interested in wearing that coat. You wear it because it had to be worn and you had to do that kind of thing. The record company wanted you seen somewhere or going to some event, which I didn't do a lot of. I hated all that.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you might be American or something. Do you know what I mean? Because when I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm young. I don't know. But when I'm hearing that,
everyone's younger than me.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had that thing of like, almost like, so that goes to show how much of a star. I guess I thought you're one of those Americans.
Right. Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, that's
how big the record was.
In that article by Alan Jackson, he said if he was an American, we'd be taking him very, very seriously indeed.
Right. And you don't think they took you seriously then?
As seriously as they could. I think it was hard to ignore. But I think that had it been American, it would have been a different thing.
Okay.
But certainly, I'd go out and there were nights where I didn't want to be noticed, and I'd go out and quite effectively escape under the radar and go clubbing with my mates and you know, do
That's
what you
really
do.
good, to be fair, in hindsight.
Brilliant.
Like, that's amazing. You get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I did get the best of both
worlds.
worlds.
Switch.
And then there's days when you get noticed, and that's it, and it's gonna be, you know, what it is, what it is.
Okay, so album's done, touring it, made money, bought houses, all of that, and then what is it? Second album, what is it? The label's like, obviously, we want more of this.
Yes, of course they want more of it.
Right.
And I essentially wanted to do more of the same. I thought we should have done a Voices album part 2, you know.
Right.
And that's really where we wanted to go with it. But record companies, they had this...
Is this the same label?
same label, yeah, because
Right.
you're kind of locked in now.
Right,
you
you're
know,
locked in, right, so
they've
they're
taken up
saying-
the options and
They've taken up the options. And
they've spent a lot of money. They've made a lot of money. You've paid the rent on their building for a while. So.
Is there an advance to the second album? Because now you're like big
Oh yeah,
time.
yeah. You're starting to get lumps.
So
You've got
how
lumps
much
in
is
it.
the advance to do the second album? Any idea?
Well, that didn't quite work that way because I was locked into what's called a production deal. So we would make the album and deliver it to them. So we'd get the budget for it. What was left over we kept and we'd
Right.
deliver it to them. And then, there's a different kind of ownership.
What
in a
would be
way.
the kind of budget of making an album?
When you start to get into album 3, you're probably looking at 50 grand.
Right, but
So
let's
you might,
but
you know,
album 2, how much is a budget would you say to make this album? I'm just curious. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you make a whole album now. What do people make albums now for about 10 grand?
Now they're making a fuck all, mate. They go on TikTok and make it. But,
Yeah.
but then, what would you say the average ballpark?
Man, well,
100 grand, 50 grand.
yeah, you
200
could be
grand?
looking at 70, 80 grand. Yeah,
Okay.
you got studio cost. You know, if you're going down the route we did with live musicians and strings and different things,
Right.
that can be.
And they pay
expensive.
you advance. All,
I mean,
all
when
of
we
that
get
money.
into album 3, just one track costs 14, 15 grand. One track.
Okay.
Because we got 30-piece orchestra on it.
That's
and stuff
because
like
they
that.
know it's you, innit? They're like,
Well,
oh, Kenny, yeah.
No, we were
Oh
spending
no,
the
the price
money.
has gone up, mate. Price
But you're
has gone up.
making videos. You're making like videos that are 80, 90 grand.
Right, so yeah, so
But yet the best video I ever made was the one that was made for 4 grand, 5 grand. I think the Outstanding video done on a street
right.
had the best vibe about it. When we get into 80, 90 grand videos, they're crap.
And then the Thinking About Your Love video, how much was that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It was definitely creeping up to like your 10s and 15s, and which was a lot of money then.
Yeah.
But-
But it's not like an 80,
Yeah,
90
you look
grand.
at the technology. You see the Thinking About Your Love video. What came out at that time, that moment in time, was you remember the movie Ghost?
Yes.
With Patrick Swayze.
Swayze
wasn't it?
and Demi Moore, yeah.
Yeah, and Demi Moore. So there was that thing they tried their best with the tech they had
Right.
to sort of make me look a bit like transparent, like a ghost. It was that thing. Wow.
Right.
Maybe they pulled it off. Maybe they didn't.
Okay.
They tried anyway. But the thing is, so it was done.
But you know when they give you the budget,
15 grand, 20
you know when they
grand
give
maybe.
you the budget for the album, do they put it all in your account and then you're trusted to spend that?
No, I couldn't be trusted
That's
to
what, that's
do
what
that.
that's what I'm saying. So how does it work?
At
then?
22
That's what
and
I'm
hitting
saying.
the clubs in London, couldn't be trusted. with
Right,
that.
so you just bill them and say this is how much the thing, and then they just pay.
Well, they'd go to the management, to the production company, and then we'd sort of like budget it and
Yeah.
bring things in as cheap as we could.
Okay, second album, back in the studio, making it. Are you happy with it? When
Yes
all
and
said
no,
done?
enormous pressure going on
Right, and what? And that pressure is to maintain.
to get the thing done and out. Because, you
Could
know,
because
time
you're
is
hot
of
now.
time is of the essence.
So how long have they given you to make this album?
Well, the next 10 minutes, I think it was like, get it done, we want it now, we want it tomorrow, we want it yesterday.
Right, how long did it take?
It took a few months because you're writing some
Of
stuff.
course, but then you still got your old records are still circulating.
You're still
right?
working that, and you're still working some of those singles in other countries,
Right.
you know, till they kind of
And are you
run out of
writing more on this
steam.
album?
Not as much as I would like. I'm doing some writing,
Right.
but not as because of the pressure that was on. Not as much as I would like.
Okay, is that frustrating for you or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it hasn't got the joy, hasn't got the time, the space to explore it and do what you want to do.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're hot now. We need you. Your
Yeah, we
product,
need it.
right? We need you. We need you.
So
on
mistakes are made and pressures on,
What?
and well, suggestions of like you've just had enormous hits and a big album, and they come with this kind of you need to go up to the next level. You're like, no one actually knows what you mean when you say
Right.
the next level. What are you on about? That's some imaginary bullshit. You know?
Right.
Like the next level. Tell me what that actually means. Because I'm telling you, the level we're on, we make an album like that. We just make part 2. Great record, sounding great. We're happy with it.
Right.
The fans will be happy
So
with
they
it.
want to push the envelope and try other things
Yeah.
and take you somewhere else. And you don't really have a say in it.
You do and you don't. It's always a locking of horns, always a battle, you know.
Yeah.
And they're saying, want to do this, do that. And then in the end, you're beginning to run out of time. And they say, well, you better do that cover. And
Right.
you think, actually, no, that's a mistake. But you end up going, you know what? I'll just do it, shut you up, get it done. And I remember like going in on and doing vocals on a New Year's Day. Didn't go out New Year's Eve. I think went out, had one beer.
You didn't go out? Why not, mate? What's going on?
Because I needed to save myself for the next day for the recording. So we're the whole New Year's Day, we're locked in the studio. And there was days when me and Ian Green were locked in that studio, just each other, just the two of us.
Right.
And we were slowly going stir crazy.
Right.
We needed not a record company, we needed some psychiatry, man.
Right. You make the album, some things you're not happy about, comes out, how does it do?
Not very good.
Right. What is not very good?
Okay, so again, you've got to, all these years on, you can look back and see the mistakes clearly. So the record, I think, had some all right songs on it, and some of them are maybe a bit of ahead of their time. But we come with the first single, "Tripping on Your Love."
Right.
Bit of a dance record. It's originally a gospel record done by the Staple Singers.
Right. Was
cut after that by another band called A Way of Life. And then we decide what we're going to do our version of it, and we make a decent remake of it, and it's a nice record. That comes out, and that is that's massive, yeah.
Right.
So it's massive, and it's the highest new entry.
Okay.
So in the charts in those days, the highest new entry, that is like the hottest record that week.
Right.
And it's got all of the makings of quite possibly the biggest hit I could have had.
What does it come in at, highest entry?
Believe it or not, it comes in at, I think, at 17.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it came in higher than any other artist. So and there were some big artists out that week. And then we make the video.
Right.
Right. So the video is given to this production company who they got great ideas. They got the tech. They know what they're doing. Remember, things are in infancy. You're still talking about 1993, right?
Right.
And they want to do green screen and all of that business. How that is. You can do green screen in your home now and do it better than they ever did it.
Yeah.
So they did this video, and they spent an enormous amount of time. It was a big budget. I can't remember the actual budget, but they spent
roughly 50.
It was a lot of money.
Right.
There's a lot of money for back then, and they spent a lot of time setting up and doing that and. Doing some takes, screen, oh man, it was like, what they were attempting would have been good if you was a Hollywood producer, but not some guys from sort of like Notting Hill way or whatever.
Right.
So they did it, and they left the day dragged on. Me and this other model, this other girl, was from a modelling company, nice looking girl. Obviously, they wanted that kind of thing. They always figured if you had that, you'd get more MTV. It's and that kind of mindset, which.
Yeah,
I can't be bothered with that thought process. But anyway, they let them do what they want to do, knock yourself out. So they did it. But by the time they come to do the so-called main shots, it's like 1, 2 in the morning.
Right. And
we're hanging. There's only so much Pro Plus you can take and so many coffees you can drink. You know?
Yeah.
And so it looked awful. And the tech of it and the green screen thing, well, absolutely abysmal. I swear to you, it is the worst pop video ever made by any artist.
What's the song called again?
Tripping on Your Love. Go find it, have a laugh.
Right.
Now, as a result of that,
loads
of shows wouldn't touch it. Chart show wouldn't play it.
Oh, really?
Top of the Pops wouldn't play the clip, because what you normally got with Top of the Pops, you got a clip show, and then the next week you'd go on and appear.
And do it, yeah.
So they wouldn't touch it, and rightly so.
And it was that bad?
It was that bad, and there was no time to make another video.
Right.
No iPhones where you go,
Yeah.
So that was it.
What?
It completely ripped all of the life out of the single, where it
so was 17 the highest?
17, that was it, 17, and good night.
Oh, really? So video could do that to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that make you feel then? Are you like frustrated? Are you pissed off? Yeah, because it sounds... yeah.
But you got no choice. What do? You got to move on to the next thing.
Right.
But it bombed, but it would have been a massive record.
But then the Outstanding, you brought it out again. You couldn't do that with this. You couldn't fix that issue.
No, because with Outstanding, the difference is it's the first record, so we could do a reissue.
Yeah.
But once you're off the starting blocks, you've got to be nailing it.
Okay, song comes out, then it's the next one?
Yes. And I'm trying to think what that was.
Right.
But, then we went on to another thing. I can't remember, I'll have to Google it. But I know that was minor. It wasn't massive. That wasn't massive. You could see starting to run out of momentum in a way.
But it does, go on.
Then we come out with another single after that, a beautiful single, Piece by Piece, but ahead of its time, too adult contemporary, too classy, too...
Right.
I think they wanted more pop from me, and I wasn't ready for me doing something
It's kind
like
of
that.
safe to say the songs are not hitting like the first album.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's still selling over 200,000 copies.
See, that's the thing as well that people don't... So it's seen as a fail, but if you...
I think it did 250,000 sales, something like that.
If you put that figure up now with anyone, you're destroying them.
Yeah, the record company were disappointed. They were on antidepressants, man.
They're on antidepressants.
Well, I reckon they should have been, because the way they looked, they needed antidepressants.
But
they were like unhappy about it.
250,000.
Something like that.
Like, at the time, do you
It was
see it
something
as a
like
fail?
that. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. But that was because it wasn't the 600,000.
But do you see it as a fail?
No, I just see it as just putting out music, and some things are out of our control. You know, like making a crap video. I mean, I'm not responsible for what that production company did with the money. There's theories going around that they spent their money and sent most of it to
wherever, and then
to Colombia. I don't know, to somewhere like maybe to you know, to some cartel in.
They've got their house
in
to build
Bolivia.
as well.
I bet but.
Yeah,
and that's some theories I heard, that not all of it got spent on the video and some of it went elsewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, is it frustrating then, the albums? The album, does it chart? What does the album do?
That's you have to Google it again.
Google it. Yeah. What's the album called?
Wait for Me.
Wait for Me.
Wait for Me.
Let's have a look at that.
And they did have to wait for me.
And then, is this disheartening for you? Is it kind of psychologically, because you're a pop star, then how are you feeling now?
Yeah, of course, you'd like it to be building upon what you've done.
Exactly.
But if you start to look into the history of first albums and second albums, you see that it's quite typical.
Yeah, but at the time,
first albums go well, and sometimes second albums don't.
Are you taking that to heart though, as like a 10? That's a top 10 album.
Oh, it was top 10, was it?
It's fucking amazing.
Oh well, but they were still depressed.
But then the narrative fed to you that it's a fail.
Yes.
That's really interesting, you know, because if you look at it now and we talk about it in hindsight, that's fucking great, mate. Oh, okay. You've had a top 3, you got 3.
You know, I love this podcast. I'm feeling better already.
No, that is true though. That is so true. Do you wish the mindset was different?
So they're driven there. It's corporate, isn't it? It's driven by money. It's driven by numbers. It's driven by shareholders.
Yeah. Okay. So then, what do they do then? They want to make a third album, or do they say no?
Of course, they want to make a third album.
Right.
I mean, that album wasn't. It wasn't complete and total failure, but it wasn't what they got with the first one. So they wanted to make a third album. At this point, it's changed slightly because Chrysalis has been taken over by EMI.
Major label.
It's a big business, and we sign in direct at that point. No longer a production deal. We sign in direct to make this third album.
How much is that deal? Because you still got a 3 album and a top 10 album. You still Kenny Thomas. What's that deal looking like?
I'll try and remember. You're looking at 200 grand advances or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe 150 is done in instalments. You know what I mean?
Right.
But thereabouts.
And
you've got the spend. I think the spend was like £500,000. A lot of money back then.
What's that for the album?
Yeah, to market it. It was £500,000 spend.
Right.
And different things like that. And it was enormous amounts of the royalty was I remember at the time that when because we had them by the cojones, as we say in Spanish,
Yeah, the balls.
Yeah.
But why did you have them by the balls?
Because they only had me, they didn't have me for that third album.
Right,
I could have
so you
walked
could have
anywhere.
walked.
Yeah, and really, we probably should have walked somewhere else.
Did you not want to shop around, or did you just?
I think there was a sense of loyalty and
fair enough,
or whatever.
Right, and with this money,
who knows?
And with this money, you buying houses still?
No.
What are you doing?
No, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just consolidating.
Consolidating what? What do you mean?
Sitting in, paying off what I need to pay off, helping people out.
Right.
Going on holidays, going skiing, going mad.
Okay.
There was a period where, I completely lost my mind.
What do you mean?
When I tell my kids that when they were younger, I say, see the moon up there? They go, yeah, Dad. I say, I've been there.
Right.
They say, really? You've been to the moon, Dad? I say, yeah. I'll tell you 2 things about it. It's cold, lonely, yeah? And the second thing I'll tell you is that I saw no evidence that Neil Armstrong had ever been there.
Right.
Anyway, boom, boom. So, but I'm serious. In that period of time, the music game was mad, and we were out, hitting the clubs and going mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to find out, read my book.
Oh, have you got what?
Yeah, it's called Bearing My Soul.
Why didn't you bring it?
Oh,
Come on, mate. You've got to know how to do this
send it to
promo
you.
game.
I know.
Look, mate, I should manage you. Do you know what I mean? Look, have it here. Could have the fucking.
I'm learning. I'm still learning. At 56, I'm still learning.
I would have had it here for you. Listen, do you know what I mean? I would have.
It's on Amazon. It's called Bearing My Soul. But if you want to unpack the rock and roll story,
what is that? Autobiography?
Autobiography, yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
I wrote it 2008 and 2019, and I've updated it more recently with some new chapters. And it just unpacks the music game, the story, the craziness, the nutty 90s, as I call them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that period as well where we're going out and you're rubbing shoulders with lots of other pop stars and doing.
Who are you rubbing shoulders with?
No, you're bumping into all sorts of people.
What kind of
down
pop stars are you seeing?
I'm bumping into Boy George and people like that.
Okay.
And, you know, down in clubs. He's DJing at the time. His DJ career is taking off.
He was at Ministry, wasn't he, a lot?
Yeah, I used to be down there. I fell out of there all sorts of times in the morning. And
is that taking your focus off the music, or can you still like do that and do that? You know, some people can't do both.
You think you can do them,
right?
Paul. You think that you're able to do everything really, and I can concentrate on that creativity and that there, and you compartmentalise things, and you think it's all nice and neat. Actually, it's not. It's a complete bloody mess, right?
Right.
You are not able to do that. It's an illusion. Really, what you should do is have an older head like I've got now, and go back in time and say, right, forget acting like a complete idiot and going mad with your mates, right, and other pop stars. And just like focusing creatively on what you're doing, which is what I do now. You know, I don't touch alcohol.
You only
really.
live once, don't you?
I have a drink, maybe one glass of wine a year.
Yeah.
I don't do anything. It's really, my life's really, really great and boring, some would say. But creatively, mate, it's on the button. You know, I mean, I'm telling you now. You see this album here?
Yeah, we're going to definitely talk about this.
I'm halfway through the next one.
We're going to dissect this. Definitely.
I'm halfway through the next album. The next album is
12 songs.
Yeah.
Is it 12?
No, I think it's 11. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm halfway through the next one now already, recorded, mastered. I've not got long to go, and the next album after this is done.
Okay.
So that's what I should have done.
Yeah, but you only live once,
90s.
right?
And I was a youngster.
Right,
And youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah, but you got to live, didn't you?
Yes, it's something like
that. Do you
that.
regret it?
The bits that I remember, yes, some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do regret some of it, and I think because it's a focus in another way. But you're saying, you know, when you've got to escape something, or you're escaping the game or the pressure, and there's enormous amounts of pressure from the record company, and when you're travelling here and everywhere, that's all got its own kind of pressure built into it. But my thing was not so much escaping that; it was just escaping myself. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. Escaping yourself.
Yeah, you're just getting away from the whole thing. I think I was getting away from the Kenny Thomas thing. I saw it as a bit of a treadmill that I'd been on,
right?
And I was jumping off of it.
Is this the third album period?
Before it,
right?
Before
you kind of had enough of fame, would you say?
No, it worn thin. You know, I kind of like saw it for what it was. It's transient. It's short-lived. It's an illusion.
It's not real.
It isn't that real, no.
Sure.
But it's fun. It can be fun.
Yeah.
But the thing is. But so I had this mad period in the 90s, and everyone in the music game was having that mad period. Believe me. So and then you knuckle down for that third album.
Right. So you made the third album. Are you happy with it?
Yes and no.
Right.
Because the album has two halves to it. That third album. Some of it's like produced by Simon Law.
What's the album called?
It was called Him. H-I-M.
Gab's Him.
Yeah. You won't find much on it.
No.
I'll tell you why I'm coming to it.
Right.
So
you make the third album, you're with a different production. Are you being told what to sing again? Are you being directed?
And no. You're being more steered,
You got more freedom this time to write?
Yes and no. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, actually.
Right.
Yes. And so you're making that album, and one half of it, or a portion of the album, is being produced by Simon Law, who's a great producer. He worked was part of Soul to Soul, really, in that setup. And he produced Shante Moore and
Is your heart
JT
in it?
Taylor. Oh yeah, I'm writing, and I'm writing songs like the title track "Him" I wrote with Jonathan Butler, who's a great singer from the 80s. So I'm doing that, and I'm essentially expressing it the way I want to do it, the songs, and it's sounding soulful.
Yeah.
The other half of the album is produced by Danny D, who was like great producer himself, very successful. So you got these album with two different sounds.
Right.
They're complementary in a way, but it also
is it like halves? Is it literally split in half?
You could say the sound has got two halves to it,
right? And
they kind of work together, and in a way they don't. And then we come with the first single on it, which is "When I Think of You,"
right?
And that starts to get some Radio 1 play, and it's again got its own kind of momentum.
Is this the 80 grand budget video? 'Cause you
Yeah,
said,
it was up there.
Right.
That was up there.
Right.
And so that single come out and it's doing okay, you know, and it's getting some real momentum to it and traction and some heat, and it's building very nicely. And then all of a sudden, the whole record company just went down the tubes.
What do you mean?
Chrysalis Records, Cool Tempo, no more. Everyone that I worked with for the last 6-7 years, all gone.
What
sacked.
is it? Bankruptcy? What is it?
No, just literally like a hostile takeover, you know.
By who? I don't get it.
EMI within themselves, they kind of took it over and
But
folded it.
EMI took it out first.
They owned it, but they literally sacked it all off.
So EMI buy it, sign you to do the label, and then close down
Well,
that
I'm signed
department.
within Chrysalis,
Right.
but what they do is
They close down the umbrella company.
They literally sack it off. Everyone in it's
What,
gone.
mid-
Only
mid-
2 people hung on to their jobs, but everyone I've worked with for the last few years is gone.
Wow. And why was that? Just they're not happy with...
Just thought it was a lost leader, didn't believe in it, had different ideas, there's the whole corporate nonsense.
Do you think EMI did that on purpose? They were always going to do that. You know that sometimes you buy
There was
something to
rumblings and rumours that something was coming down.
Right. So and this is,
Coming down the road.
after your first single.
Yeah.
So that means promo stops?
Everything stopped. The album stopped. It never came out. The album was meant to drop.
Right.
In the coming weeks.
So the single comes out and the album...
So it goes into like limbo. It's in stasis.
That's very weird because you've made the product and they've spent the money on you.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they just push some promotion behind it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's like, I don't know, the difficult thing is how can I sack off it? Like you did a load of artwork and said, look, you know, I'm sacking you, but I'll keep your artwork.
Right.
Well, if you like my artwork, why don't you keep me, you know?
So
This is like they sacked off everyone in the record company, so
then
all the
they
work
drop
they've
you
done,
then?
it's...
Are you dropped as
No,
an artist?
I'm just left hanging.
Shelved?
No, not even nicely shelved.
So then what is it then?
You're just left in limbo, and they don't actually know what to do with you. But there's a contract, you see. The contract says this album's got to come out at this time.
Right. So they put it out reluctantly.
Then they realise, when the solicitors step in, they realise, oh,
We have to put
that
it
album
out.
was meant to come out and we didn't do it. So then you're in breach of contract, and then we went into litigation.
With EMI?
Yeah.
And then what was the outcome of that?
The outcome was they paid me to leave.
How much they paid to leave?
I think they owed
The
me...
redundancy money.
Yeah, I think they owed me a good $100,000.
So they give you...
Something like that. And they owed me it. It was part of the deal. So there was no getting out of paying that.
So they gave you that and the walking away money, or that was...
No, that was
So they
it.
gave you that to leave?
And the album's gone.
But the album's not yours?
Not mine.
Okay, because he's just told me it charted at 35. So have they brought out...
Hold on, what year was that?
So effectively... go on.
Yeah, so the album's gone. And it's gone for, believe it or not, 30 years.
What's gone?
The Him album.
Right, so you can't
It's
find
only
it?
in recent years that my manager now, Ed Lewis...
2024?
Yeah.
Will the album come out in 2024?
Yeah.
First chart date? Okay,
Yeah.
so it was hidden in the archives.
Yes.
It was like a...
Yes. And so basically my manager Ed went back to the label and said, hey, you know, this is sitting there doing nothing for you, nothing for us.
Let's just put it out.
It's like it's part of that old story, that old litigation thing that
Wow.
went on back then.
And they said, yeah, put it out.
All the main characters of the drama are now
Paid for, we might as well put it out.
Yeah.
And did they put promo behind it or literally
Yeah,
just put it
well,
out?
not as much promo as you'd like, but we got the artwork together and we repackaged it. And the main thing was getting the fans to hear that work.
Right.
So,
Was that your main
just
thing?
saying, well, look, this is an album that
Just
you
for
should have heard
legacy
in
purposes.
95. Yes, for legacy purposes.
Right.
You should have heard this in 95.
Right.
You know, but you didn't.
So when they effectively shut you down, how was that feeling for you then? Because you just... And the actual litigation, how long did that take to kind of walk away from the label?
Oh, that only took a matter of weeks.
Oh, okay. I thought you were shelved
It would
for
no, it
for
would
years
have.
or
Well,
something.
it was a number of weeks, but it would have taken longer.
Right.
They were quite prepared to tough it out, but then
just settle.
a magazine, you know, Music Week. You heard of Music Week?
Yeah.
Well, they got hold of it and they were going to go. They were threatening to go front cover with Kenny Thomas versus EMI, and they said we don't need this, so let's just settle and done.
And then are you frustrated again that the album's not coming out? It's
Yeah,
not doing-
because what happens, you've spent a lot of time writing it, there's some great stuff on it, and it ain't going to see the light of day, and you're not even back to square one, you're back to zero.
What did that single do, the first one? Because it comes out, right? Or not?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
What's the song called?
When I Think of You.
Maestro. When I think of you.
Google it, please.
Sorry, you mean it's okay. And then, what do you do then? Are you kind of relieved? Is this the break you've yearned for?
I'm taken to another couple of labels to sort of see if they're interested, but they weren't.
They weren't interested?
No.
Okay, why?
And, well, some of them would have had more of a pop.
27. 27's that single. Okay.
That's right, 27. So not a big record at all by any stretch of the imagination.
So you go to other labels, they don't want to sign you?
Yeah, one is moderately interested, but they got really...
What, these majors?
Yeah, it was a major. I'm trying to think who it was now. Right. That they've got a very much a pop idea in mind of steering it down.
So how is that feeling for you?
And I don't want to go down a pop record route, you know.
Right. But how is that feeling for you? Like, we don't want to sign you.
Well, most of my records were pop. I wanted to at that point be going more soulful.
But the industry, I guess, was more poppy at the time.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So what happens is
the trend.
That period I was in the early 90s with a solo artist like myself, you could say that day was over for a while.
Exactly.
For a good while, because what's coming up is the girl bands, the boy bands, the manufactured stuff.
Right.
And big pop records.
And you don't want to fit into that mold. It's like
that's not
evolve.
For me.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not for me.
Fair enough.
I'm long game. I'm always interested in the long game of doing my music and staying with it and sticking with it.
I respect that.
You know, and now that proof is the fans that are, you know, blessed and
so what do you do then?
Coming out to see the big tours now.
Come on, we're going to talk about that. I promise you, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But what about then? So do you take a long break? What do you do?
I keep gigging because there's no shortage of gigs. There's still the demand is there for me to be in the clubs and doing those things. And I'm gigging here, I'm gigging in Dubai, Bahrain, all over the shop. So that is great because I'm still working. But You
should have bought land in Dubai, mate. Back then. So listen,
I know.
I want to buy something here now, mate.
I know.
Okay, but so you're keeping busy, but there's no yearn to make something new. You just have.
There is, and then what I'm doing is I get heavily involved in a lot of pop writing.
Right.
So I'm writing a lot of stuff and for other people. And
what are you writing?
Just girl band, boy band stuff because I was getting in with other writers. It just wasn't for me. This was for writing for others. Well, I got in the studio and did something with Anthony from Blue and some other Richie from Five and those bands back then.
That's really good.
And then I did a load of other writing all over. I was really out there doing a lot of songwriting. That was very beneficial because I was really still learning more about that craft and that art form, you know.
Because on the surface, it would appear like he's not around anymore. Out of sight, out of mind.
Chart-wise,
yeah,
and radio-wise,
yeah.
Do
you know what I mean?
He's gone, yeah.
How was that for you? I mean, are you taking that in, or are you not bothered about that?
I'm not bothered about that.
You're genuinely not?
No.
Okay, because you had the superstardom. Do you know what I mean? You were a superstar.
Well, I'm not bothered about it because that's not you know, that's not running my engine. You know what I mean?
Sure, I hear you.
And I'm writing a lot, and I'm in the studio doing what I like to do, being creative.
Right.
And some of that songwriting comes good, you know. In that period, I wrote a song that Rod Stewart took and cut, and there's another record that I wrote that George Benson cut, and stuff like that. So that's good.
But that's good for like validation as well to say that you are a songwriter. Yeah, if Rod Stewart wants your song, fucking hell, mate.
It's a nice thing.
That's not what is that song called?
It was called Don't Come Around Here.
Right, but just working with Rod Stewart, how was that? Do you know what I mean?
I didn't work with him, didn't get to meet him. I wrote it with another writer, but he took the song.
He took it, but amazing. Royalties.
Yeah, there's a bit of dough to be made out of that.
There's a bit of dough of Rod Stewart. Yeah. Okay, so what year was that third album?
Should have been 95.
Right.
But it didn't land, as I say, till 2024.
So in that gap, are you releasing or are you just doing this writing stuff?
I'm also doing some guest spots on people's records, some dance stuff and like, you know, appearing on different things here and there. But you could say that that period is what I call my desert experience, you know. Right. That's where I'm wandering around for 40 years
you're
in the desert looking for the promised land. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but are you looking for the promised land or are you happy? That's what I'm trying to get at. Are you yearning for that?
The only thing I want is to be making the music I want to make, you know, and putting out that music.
Right.
I'm not really in massive need of fame or huge chart success. You know, it's not something that's the top of the list. But I'm certainly wanting to make music and put stuff out and do gigs.
And then you have a family, start a family. How many children do you have?
I've got 2 girls, 2 boys. Okay. So I meet my wife. That's later on. I meet her in 2007. Right. And then we we get married the following year, and then we get into that whole thing of
life,
of having family, which is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But she's a musician herself, and
Okay.
she's a songwriter, so she's a singer.
Yeah.
And I met her at a gig, you know,
Okay.
when she was over from South Africa. So I met her. She came over from Cape Town, did a gig, went back to South Africa for a bit, came back, and it was like that, and lots of money spent with British Telecom, whispering
You got
sweet
WhatsApp now,
nothings.
yeah.
There was no WhatsApp back then, so I was whispering the sweetness down the phone, making BT very rich.
Yeah.
And I used to work for them. They should give me some kickback for that.
Right.
And then she comes back and we get married, and we get on with that life, you know. But creatively,
right,
you know, not only have I found a beautiful wife, I've also found probably the best thing I can find creatively speaking.
Sure.
Because she's writing some of the songs on this.
Yep.
On this new album, and she's doing the backing vocals, and she's even written a song, you know, which we've just finished for the next album. She's written one of those.
Is this the first album then, since that third album?
No.
Right.
No, there were lots of other bits and pieces. There's some I did a piano vocal jazz thing with a jazz pianist, but there was another album called Breathe that I put out myself.
Like independent stuff?
I did that independently. That's the other thing I did. I did an album like that independently on my own label.
And then how was that doing it yourself, kind of, when you got to run it yourself and do the promo yourself?
Hard work.
Yeah.
And not great, because you learn the pitfalls very quickly.
Yeah.
There are many of them. But again, it was a good lesson to experience that and to put it together and write it, but you know, it wasn't going to set the world on fire, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But all these things were beneficial in so many ways, you know.
Do you feel like you needed that break?
I didn't feel like I had a break, because I was gigging, and then I eventually got a new band together, and I was out on the road with them. So it didn't feel like I'd had a break, but I suppose from the outside I'd had a break because I wasn't charting any records.
Right.
And Radio 2 weren't playing it, you know what I mean?
And just to be clear, you've been busy all this time gigging. I just want people to know that, because you know, in Britain we have a real mindset of
you're
Kenny's
busy
not
gigging
about,
here and gigging abroad.
Kenny's fallen off or whatever. But the fact is that the UK is so small. It's like you've got the world to go and
I've kept busy. You know, I haven't fallen off anywhere. The only time I fell off was that little bit in the mid-90s when I fell off the moon. But other than that, I was just
that's what
I'm still here.
And it's important that we kind of get that out there. That's what I want to do. So can we talk about this album? The first thing I want to talk about, I know it's a bit shiny, right? But it says here, nutritional facts, right? And then it says contains ingredients 100% soul, 11 soul. I love that, you know. That's why I haven't ripped this off. Daily value, vitamin KT, 100%. What is KT? Kenny Thomas, vitamin D. I actually love that. The album is called Unstoppable. Can I break this open? Can you do that for me, please? Because I don't have a
Be
knife.
careful with the vinyl.
Be careful, you know. I wanted to sign this, so Gabs, do that, please.
Careful in there.
Do that. And then, why the physical product? Because I guess people will argue.
Yeah, because you know we sell them at shows when we're touring, so there's still a demand for CDs, and there's certainly a demand for vinyl.
Right.
You know.
So you sold them literally at the shows only.
No. This will be available online, and they can buy it wherever it's you buy CDs these days.
I love the fact that we got inlays and stuff like
Go
this.
to the website, I would imagine, as well, kennythomasmusic.com.
I used to love reading all of this.
Yes.
What label is this now?
So this is with Cartel, but it's also with my own sort of like imprint inside it, 777.
So 777's your label?
Yeah,
and
that's my
Cartel's
imprint, and then Cartel is the actual label. Yeah, that it's done with.
But it's very much indie.
Licensed to.
It's okay. So it's indie. It's an independent. You would say. Or?
Yeah, they're not a major, but you know, there's some.
First
there's
thing
a bit of clout there.
First thing I've noticed, come on, mate, open it, hurry up.
He's trying not to damage it.
Yeah, I need that signed. It's the first one as well. 101. Oh, come on, mate, it's done now. It's a rip.
No, I'll tell you, they're packaged like kids' toys.
No, he's passing it back, Clout. I don't want the responsibility.
You be responsible for damaging it.
No, I'm not going to damage it, look. It's the shine, isn't it? Right. Right. Just bear with. All right, happy, mate? Happy, mate? That's how you do it. Okay. First thing I've noticed is thinking about your love is on here.
Yeah.
So explain that, because is that not...
Okay.
Do you own that now?
No, I wish.
Right.
But obviously,
have you re-recorded it?
Yes, I've re-recorded it.
Okay, because
So-
after 25 years, I was told by someone previously you could redo your own stuff or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
what re-recording restrictions? Yeah, I mean they sometimes a lot less than that. I mean you can cover it like.
But
and
it
cover
sounds
your own
the same.
record. No, what I've done is there was a moment where my wife, she plays piano, so she sat at the piano and said, "Have you ever thought about doing anything about your love like this?" And I was like, "Wow."
Oh, so
breaking
like a
it down,
stripped back
stripped
kind
back,
of-
breaking it
Okay.
down, so almost like a ballad, and restructuring it ever so slightly. And I said, "Wow, we should do that."
Right.
I mean, she's creatively, she's a
Right.
bit of a genius.
Right, but the original is still owned by someone else. Label.
The writing, yeah.
Do you know
the,
why
the
I-
songwriter still has, the rights.
Do you know
So he's
the-
going to earn out of that.
Do you know the weirdest thing? I swear to you, I was in the studio yesterday with an MC and he sampled Thinking About Your Love and
No.
he played it to me and I said, "Do you know what, mate? This is the weirdest thing ever.
You're lying.
I'm seeing Kenny Thomas tomorrow."
Really?
Fuck off. No way. No, play it to him. Please, please. I said, "I will," and I'll speak to you about off camera.
Well, you need people to sample stuff and make it go viral.
But
Do it.
who owns that now? Can it be sampled? Do you have to give the green light or does
No,
it
it'd be
someone else?
EMI, the nemesis.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that then? If someone sampled
Well, is
work
it,
that
is it just the music or you got a bit more vocal on it?
it's the Thinking About Your Love stuff, so he does a bit of rapping to Think About Your Love. So I'll play it to you.
Yeah, well,
But I'm just curious as to
There's
like,
two ways of looking at it. Do you go? You have to get approval from them for the sample,
or you could just
or
redo it.
you could, if it's a record that's going to go through the roof, then you'd say go to the artist and say, "Do you fancy just redoing that little bit there?"
Okay.
And then
So
you don't have to-
there's ways around it.
You don't have to ask anyone for anything. But if it's the music of it, I mean, let's see. There's always a conversation to be had.
Yeah, okay, that's beautiful. Okay, so why the title first, Unstoppable?
Well, that's
It's
one of
pretty
the tracks. One
self-explanatory.
of the tracks on there
Right.
is Unstoppable. It's a great song.
Yeah.
I wrote it with the producer Oppo Loppo, who's in Sweden, and my nephew Nathan Thomas. There's a bit of a family affair going on this album.
Yeah.
He's a great writer, my nephew, and I just thought it was a nice title because it's kind of like after 35 years, there's a bit of an unstoppable element to it. But as you know, with life, everything is ultimately stoppable.
And then why now, I guess, I've got to ask you.
What, this album?
Yeah, just why is it just...
The timing's right. We've done a number of tours. They've grown and got bigger. Obviously selling out the London Palladium last year, end of last year.
You kept that quiet, you know what I mean? So you're selling out the Palladium, that's amazing.
Yeah, and we're announcing a bigger tour for next March, which is going to be
Right.
Hammersmith Apollo and
Yeah.
all of that. So I think the timing's right, and obviously creatively I'm in a good space and a good flow, and it was the first time that I could make an album, I think, for me, that was like really like Voices, not musically, although you got me singing on it, that's the connection
Right.
there, but in terms of the relaxation and the...
Is it still very much soul?
It's all over it, yeah. But it's less pressure, you know. I could make an album and craft it, do the songs, take my time, pick and choose the ones that go on it and don't
Yeah.
go on it, and ultimately just make an album that just sounds great, you know, in my opinion.
I think it's-
which is really probably,
All that matters, really.
yeah, to me.
Yeah.
Because in that regard, you have to be quite selfish. you
Right,
know?
and I guess it's a beautiful time now for music because you can do it all yourself. You can put it out, get it on your Spotify's or whatever. You can make your own videos. You
But
don't-
also the other thing
you
is
don't have to
working
spend
with...
90 grand on the video.
No, we haven't
can-
got that to spend on
I
it.
can do you one for 20, you know.
Yeah. So the other thing is the relationship with Oppo Loppo, the producer in Sweden.
Right.
And that we've done some remixes together in the past of tracks, and then this is the first time I said, hey, you know, let's not remix anything. Let's go and make a standalone album. And his productions on there are just amazing. The guy's another level.
Yeah. Kim Wilde's on here, for those that are
Yeah.
unaware. She's like, I think I read something, she had the most something, but she's a record-breaking artist. She's a Brit Award. She's won Brits and stuff
She
like
was
that.
having hits before we were...
How was that? Is this just an
out
old
of
friend
school.
that you kind of...
Yeah, I've known her brother Ricky and her for a number of years now,
Right.
and it was just a natural thing to say, well, look, you know, someone suggested getting a female singer onto that record, and then someone in the music game said, what about Kim Wilde? And I said, well, it's mad. I was only on the phone to Kim last week.
Right.
She's a friend of mine. It never occurred to me.
That you
but
could-
it's just, it's one of those where it's sort of staring you in the face, but you can't see it.
And Kim just obliged.
And she was up for it, and she sounds great.
No, we love that. And
She sounds great.
She's still out there. How many tracks we got here? 1, 2...
11, is it?
and then are you going to release singles or how you going to do this?
Well, if I Can't Have You's come out digitally,
Right.
And Shout Out Now is out now.
Right.
And that's been played by Trevor Nelson's played it on Radio 2. Spoonie played it.
Okay.
So we're getting some nice plays.
And
you know?
is this just you trying to push the record, or you got a
record
team?
company pushing it,
Yeah.
pluggers, the usual thing, you know.
And like, how does it feel like you're back out here on promo mode? Do you know what I mean? Is it like a different world now?
Yeah, it's good, yeah. Well, it's different in the sense you wouldn't be doing this back then.
Right.
You know.
Yeah,
this
it's definitely
didn't
not for
exist.
2 hours, whatever it is.
No,
you know
it
what I mean?
didn't exist.
Yeah.
And then, you know, doing what I did the other day with DJ AG and...
Yeah, so I was going to actually
Yeah.
say that it's a wonderful thing. How was that? You went on AG and just to see people resonating and like, fucking hell, Kenny
Yeah.
Thomas, was that nice for you to see? 'Cause
Yeah, and it's almost taking it back to how it was, you know, when we did the video to Outstanding, it was on the street, you know, it was in Berwick Street Market.
Yeah.
And it was good to be back in on the street,
Yeah,
literally doing it.
Just the response though.
Oh, great response.
Do you know what I mean? Like everyone
amazing online response.
coming
It's
out.
Yeah, and it's made people aware of me that
must
probably
be
forgot about
heartwarming.
me.
Do you know what I mean? And even me, I saw you, and that's how I actually contacted you, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I've known about you. I just didn't think you were reachable. If I'm honest, I'll be honest. Do you know what I mean? And it's,
I'm the guy next door.
yeah,
anyone
but
can reach me.
But we don't realise.
Yeah.
You don't realise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so from there, I was like, fucking Kenny Thomas. There's no way. And then look at that.
I mean, the thing is with that the King's Cross thing, there's only like what 15 minutes of it, but it's had the enormous extension that's
Power of
come
the
off of it.
internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's you know, hundreds of thousands of hits and
And
people being aware of me and that really largely had forgotten because they're not locked into the soul scene. They're not locked into the festivals and the weekenders.
Yeah.
They don't realise you're touring all the
But
time.
how is that seeing this internet age and kind of the evolution of it all and stuff?
Great.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, do you know what it would cost you in the 90s to reach that many people in that amount of time? You wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
And record companies would pay enormous amounts of money to do it.
but then on the flip side, some would say it then opens it up to these like overnight TikTokers who are kind of not really of the craft and they get fame overnight and almost cutting corners.
Okay.
How does that make you feel? Do you know
Well,
what
listen,
I mean?
I'm all for people getting lucky. You could say that I got lucky back in the 90s. I sang and we made a record and got the right person heard me, signed it, and off it went. In that sense, you know, I'm all for people getting lucky. It's just how long can you stay lucky?
Right.
Can you sustain it?
Sure.
Is the real creativity there? Is the real talent there?
Sure.
And if it is, then develop it and just keep going.
I've got to be honest, I've just looked at the cover. It just reminds me of George Michael's. What did he do? Was it?
I wish it was George Michael.
But it's very
man.
like,
what
was
a star
the,
he was.
What was the thought behind the album cover?
I think it was kind of like just thinking about those. Like,
His
some of those-
older album. Sorry, his older album was very like that.
Yes,
Do you know
yeah,
what I
well,
mean?
he's better looking than me, that's for sure. I think it was kind of like thinking about those old albums, especially in the 80s and
Yeah.
maybe early 90s, that had that kind of old school facial thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, well, look, you know, here I am. Yeah, I've got no hair, I'm older, but
But we're still here. We're still doing it.
that's how I am now.
Album's out now. Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's
people
out
can
now.
go check it out. And
Yes.
and you're touring when?
March 2026.
Okay. Why is it so far away? Is that just how it works?
Yeah, just to give it time to sell and
And
build it
some of the
up. And there's
venues-
loads of other gigs in between that and festivals
And
and stuff.
some of the venues you're doing.
Oh my goodness, I haven't got it in front of me, but I do know the big one that matters in London is the Hammersmith Apollo.
I'm gonna need some backstage for that, mate.
You are coming.
Thank you, sir.
And you want to go to kennythomasmusic.com,
Right, yeah.
and that's where you'll find out dates,
Yep.
everything.
Out now. Can we touch upon? I didn't earlier. You've been nominated for a Brit Award. We kind of haven't
back
spoken
then.
about that. Yeah, let's talk about that. That's an
Yeah.
amazing achievement. How was that for you? Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
one of the top. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when you asked me earlier about what was the moments that made you think, you know, that you kind of arrived or
Right.
you was, you know, hitting the big time, that was definitely one of them when
Yeah.
I was at the Brit Awards and my name was there alongside George Michael,
Yeah.
you know, and Van Morrison and Elton
like-
John
Icons.
and stuff like that.
Who won that award? FYI.
Who won that?
Yeah.
He cleared up that year. He won Best Newcomer.
Is that what you was nominated for?
Yeah, I think it was Best Newcomer, something like that, and it was Best Male Vocalist.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that the guy who cleared it was Seal. Seal cleared up
Okay. Still.
because his album was massive, and he
Yeah.
was, you know, he was huge star of that year.
How was it going there? And your name's not called. Be honest.
Truthfully, we
Do you want
didn't.
to
We
throw a
didn't.
bottle across the Seals table?
We
Yeah.
didn't expect it.
Okay.
Yeah, we really, I was told, look, you know, it would be a miracle if you got it. And you kind of, like, the record company tend to have an idea whether you're going to get it beforehand,
Yeah.
you know. And they just said, look, you know, you're nominated and that's it.
Yeah. But it's lovely to be
It
nominated.
was looking like Seal was going to
Yeah.
nail it.
You touched upon it earlier. You don't have to talk about it. You said your daughter has cancer. Do you want to elaborate on that, or just that as a personal, private matter?
No. I
'Cause you
can.
did bring it up,
Yeah, I
and
can
was-
talk about
and
that.
and I was unaware.
Yeah. Okay. Now, obviously, I unpack it in the book
This is
for
for
sure.
awareness purposes, you know.
Yeah. Now, my daughter Christina was diagnosed with a brain tumour in February of 2017.
Right.
And
How old was she then?
she was 4.
Right.
And she was given a very short time, a very poor prognosis. And it was said at the time they didn't expect her to
Right.
see out that year.
Yeah.
And what I did was I didn't really go for any of the treatments here.
Right.
Because they really weren't going to do much, in all honesty.
Okay.
And I went to Germany the following year. I went to Germany, but I did a lot of holistic and complementary stuff with her.
Such as?
Well, I got, as I said, a Bachelor of Science degree in Chinese medicine. So
You did?
Yeah.
In Chinese medicine? Okay, let's
so
put that.
acupuncture, herbal
Okay,
medicine.
why did you do that?
Just I was curious about it.
Okay.
And there's something,
Like
as I say, you know, I told you
herb-
earlier, I'm insane, right? So,
Well, yeah, right.
or more or less a
Right.
bit insane.
So when
it's
did
one of
you
those
do that
where
research? Sorry,
I got
herbal
into
medicine.
that in 2007. I started that and passed the Bachelor of Science degree in
Amazing.
2010. I got
Congratulations.
curious and was reading a lot of Chinese medicine books. Also some Ayurvedic medicine, the East, you know,
Right.
Asian medicine and Far East stuff.
Do you know about the Dr. Sebi medicines?
I've
You ever
heard
the
of him,
Dr.
yeah.
Sebi, yeah, because there's a lot of people sit here and talk about his approach and how he can
Yeah.
cure X, Y, and Z, and it
Yeah,
was like,
you'll be very careful what people say they can cure. But obviously, my story is I've got into that,
right,
and then so armed with a lot of knowledge from that, when my daughter fell ill in 2017,
right,
I employed a lot of that, the herbal medicine and some of that, the modalities, if you like, of Chinese medicine, along with other stuff and other people that I was in touch with. And that really kept her quite stable and in some ways reversed some of the symptoms we
Okay.
were seeing, the external symptoms. So we were maybe buying time.
right,
And then as we got into 2018, I was exploring, I was talking to professors in Mexico, India,
wow.
you know, America. And
Is it just online finding them?
I was filing through it. No, a lot of it was a network of other parents who were going through the same journey
Right,
with their kids. And then I eventually flew out to Germany to meet a professor there.
right,
And I settled on a clinic there, and we went backwards and forwards from Cologne doing a therapy called dendritic cell therapy.
right.
And you can't get that here.
What is that? Sorry, just
It's taking the dendrites, the cells, the dendritic cells out of taken with blood, a blood draw, you know,
Right.
lots of blood samples, and then they're multiplied in a lab, and they are into the millions,
Wow.
into the millions. And what they're introduced to is antigens,
Right.
which are literally attached to them, and then those cells will go. They're put back into the body a week later by injection, and then they will march around the body doing all sorts of seek and destroy missions.
right,
And the only side effect of that is about a 24-hour fever, like you've got flu.
right.
And then after that, she was great again. So we did that a number of times, and that really kept things enormously stable. And then after that, we switched to another doctor in Frankfurt, and where we accessed a medicine called ONC201, which you couldn't get here. You now can get that here,
Okay.
but you couldn't at the time. It was enormously expensive, the whole thing. And we did that for 2 years. And I think what we were doing, we were keeping her quite healthy and quite stable. We wasn't curing the disease, and we wasn't having a major impact on it, but it wasn't progressing.
Right.
So that's where we found ourselves. And eventually, you know, as we get into the last 2 years, or last year and a half in particular, we then start to access a gene therapy, a gene inhibitor medicine, and we access that here now. So that shows you how things have changed. The
Right.
medicine she's on now was not even around when she was
Right.
first diagnosed. It did not exist.
Right.
And so we're doing that. And again, the last few scans, got another one coming up shortly, and they've just shown that the disease is stable.
Oh, amazing.
So you could say we haven't won, we haven't lost.
Well, you've won. didn't
You're
you?
living with it as opposed
Right.
to dying from it.
Right.
And so we're now 8 years,
Beautiful.
8 years, 6 months on.
Is she on the NHS here, or is this all private now?
Right. So the medicine now she's accessing here is I think it's classed as on compassionate grounds. and may or may not be classed as part of a trial, really. I think it's just compassionate grounds, and that is accessed here. But all the rest of it was before that. The 7 years prior to that was all private.
Is it fair to say if you didn't go private, things would be a lot different?
I believe that if we never went to Germany and we didn't do all the things we did, I would probably think she wouldn't be here. And we wouldn't have got to this stage where we could access the medicine we're accessing now.
Sure, and just
because it didn't exist as well back then.
Thoughts on the NHS then in general then?
Listen, if you break your leg, get down to A&E. You need them.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's easy to knock it as a
right.
as a thing, but it's essential. And you've also got, I mean, they can only work with what they know. There are other countries where things are quite advanced, and there are things available in other countries you can't do here.
But you would presume that the UK would be top of the medical. Do you know what I mean? No. You've obviously seen otherwise.
Well, I think they are in certain areas, and they're the way they're moving forward with genetics and diagnostics and stuff like that is amazing. But you've got to remember that for certain medicines to happen here, they need to jump through an enormous amount of hoops, tick a load of boxes, and that might take 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
In some other countries, it doesn't have to quite do that. Doesn't mean it's not safe. Right. It just means it's not such a protracted affair of going round the houses to get there. So in Germany, for instance, they can move a lot quicker with things, and they have a different mindset about things. Over here, it's a bit, there's organisations that keep a little bit of a stranglehold on things, so they're not available. But in saying that, things are changing fast. So with Christina, for instance, the first thing they were offering was like your chemos and the rest of it. They weren't going to save her, and I asked for evidence. Can you show me another child with that kind of brain tumour that you've saved with that? And no, the answer is you can't.
Right, so they categorically told you that we can't save her.
You can control it. Yeah, they knew that. You can control it.
Okay.
You maybe shrink a little bit, possibly, maybe not. But the side effects are going to be awful.
Yeah.
And you'll do. Sometimes it's like like you've got a hornet's nest in your loft, and you think, well, I'll get rid of it by dropping some napalm on it.
Yeah.
You'll get rid of the nest, right?
But
you'll also get rid of the house.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be a bit like that. So I was not in favour of that. My idea was, let's harness the immune system, work with it, empower it, make it do its job, and in that way. So that was my kind of thought processes. And so the thing now that's changing, and it's not there yet, but what will come in the years to come, and I hope it's fast, is that you will see the chemos and the radiation, which do have their benefits with some people, not many, but some. Mm-hmm. You will find that that will become like secondary, and you'll find that the genetic side of things and the genetic mutations within cancer cells and via biopsies will become the main thing. And then you'll see these targeted therapies, these genetic-based therapies that will come in, and they are like, that's like guided missiles, you know what I mean, for some people. And there's some amazing things going on, but it's not there yet. We're still getting there.
Some people say there is a cure for cancer, but they're just making too much money from it. Would you like to pass comment?
I would say there's money in disease.
Right.
And there's the only problem with allopathic medicine, the modern Western allopathic medicine, is largely that it's treating symptoms.
Right.
A lot of it is symptom control, disease control, and symptom management. Yeah. And I think that, there's a lot of truth in that there's an enormous amount of money in certain drugs. It's like, I read a lot. You can probably tell I read a lot.
Yeah, I'm grasping that concept.
I read a lot of medicine, and I'm always studying this stuff. And there's evidence to suggest that in the world of psychiatrics, that some of the chemicals that are now they're used all over the world, and they're worth billions. They're not that effective as you think. And actually, they knew that years ago they weren't that effective. But there's cheddar in it, and there's things like. Some people would say statins, for instance. There's an argument against statins that they do control cholesterol, and they do bring cholesterol down. But also, you've got to remember that your brain is made of a lot of cholesterol. Do you want to reduce that?
Right.
Do you really want to reduce that? No, you don't. So are there other ways of managing cholesterol? Then there's another argument on the other side, and let's not go down this rabbit hole.
We're in it.
Yeah. Is the cholesterol thing an actual myth? There's a book out there called, I think it's called The Cholesterol Myth.
Right.
It's not written by idiots like me. It's written by doctors.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Read it. Read it. You know, read all these books and start to do your own research. That's the other thing with parents. I mean, I meet parents now on this journey with their kids not being well with cancer and brain tumours in particular, and they are so clued up.
Right.
The information's out there.
It is out there.
You know, 30 years ago, the oncologist was, you know who the oncologist was? God. The oncologist was God. What I say is gospel, it's the truth, and you take it or leave it. Now, these parents can sit there and say, well, I've just read several PubMed, you know, sort of studies and peer-reviewed.
But there's so much out
trials.
there as well now. It can get a bit like what's real, what's not. Do you know what I mean?
But
Do you
some of
find
them
it's
are
like
really
just a
extremely
minefield?
clued up.
Right.
So clued up, you know, medically. And so I would say there's some parents I've met in the last 8 years that they know more than most of the oncologists I've met. Certainly not some of the professors I've met. So, yeah, you're right, but there's some lunatics out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one guy, and he contacted me in the first year of Christina being ill, and he said, contacted me via some social media thing and said, like, you know, hi Kenny, I've read your story, or he saw it in somewhere. I can cure cancer in 27 days.
Right.
I thought, wow.
But as a father, you're obviously going to magnetise to that, right? Because it's like the words you want to hear.
So I said, okay, cool, give me a number.
Right.
I rang him up. I said, let's chat tomorrow, blah, 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 whatever. I rang him up and I said to him, so you can cure cancer in 27 days? I said, damn. I said, so you got a Nobel Prize, right? And he went, no. I said, you haven't got a Nobel Prize? Well, you should have.
Yeah.
You cured cancer in 27 days. Tell me how you do it. So then he went into some sort of like talking about some supplements.
Right.
One of them was like a phytoplankton. One of them was L-carnosine and all of these things, right? And it works out that he can't cure cancer in 27 days. There's one guy on the whole of this planet who had cancer somewhere like New Zealand or Australia, and it was a particular cancer. Wasn't brain, it was body, and he worked at a phytoplankton factory. Right. And the guy started licking the bowls there, you know, and sort of like thinking, well, let me consume a load of this. Right. And for some odd reason,
it worked.
His cancer went into remission and disappeared. But you remember, there's a lot of cancers that go into remission and disappear if you do nothing. I met someone whose wife had cancer. She had it all over. It was stage 3 or 4, given no time to live, and she just kept living. Right. And eventually they scanned her.
Gone.
Months later, there was no cancer. And I said to the guy, what did your wife do? She changed her diet, she went vegan, what else she doing? You know, vitamins, minerals.
Yeah. He
said she did nothing whatsoever. She carried on exactly as normal. So there is this strange...
But you hear loads of theories, I don't know, like fasting will kill cancer if you fast for X amount of days.
I think fasting will, you know, create some regeneration and some clear out of toxins.
And then there was a Joe Rogan thing about drinking something. What was it? The
methylene blue.
There you go. Thoughts on that? The detergent, is that a real? And that's the thing.
It was
like,
a dye, wasn't it? It's a
what
dye.
do you do? Like, do you just how do you take all this information? Do you try everything?
There's some interesting information on methylene blue out there that is, you know, how it donates energy to the mitochondria and stuff like that. It's not the same methylene blue I think they were dyeing their Levi's with. But it might be.
But it's a form of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a form of it. But it's interesting. I mean, it definitely warrants a lot more investigation. I wouldn't be...
You wouldn't be downing it.
Well, I suppose you wouldn't go glugging it straight away.
Yeah.
But there's... Yeah, as I say, there's loads of things we can go down. This is a whole rabbit hole. It's another podcast.
Good. No, it's all good.
You go down this rabbit hole. But it's, you know, like you rightly say, there's money in.
But your daughter,
there's money in illness.
Your daughter's currently well. She's doing good.
Yeah, she's stable, and she's going to school, and
we send her love, Christina.
You know, and she's in a always laughing every day. She's in a happy place.
We love to see.
So she's got quality of life that I don't think she would have had if we didn't do what we did.
That's an amazing thing. We do this thing before we end, sir. We're almost at the end. Are you good though, yeah? Are you
yeah, I'm good.
Right.
It's hot though, isn't it?
It is hot. So I ask AI to ask you questions.
All right.
This is all AI generated.
Oh my goodness, this sounds...
thoughts on AI, by the way?
Ominous.
Thoughts on AI?
It's great. I mean, I'm not completely... I'm not AI savvy, but I know some people who are, and it's mad what it can do.
Okay, I haven't read the questions. Sometimes they can be a bit raw. If you don't want to answer them, don't answer them, yeah?
All right.
All right. See, look at this. You were a white guy dominating the UK soul scene in the 90s. Did you ever feel like you were invading black music? Look at that.
Did I ever feel like I was invading black music? Not really, because it's the only music I grew up with. It's really the only thing I knew. So I could only do the music that was in my heart, you know, and in my soul, for want of a better word. So I didn't feel that. You want the truth, and I've said this to people before, and it's really like you've got to get your head around it. I never ever, over all those years, the black DJs in clubs and the black DJs on radio never had a problem. The problem I ever had with this kind of weird, kind of quasi absurd racism was some white DJs who played black music. And they were the ones who couldn't stomach a white guy doing black music because they were maybe so purist, but they themselves were white. It was bizarre, and I say this to my band. My band's largely, you know, made up of black guys, and when we discuss this story, they're saying that's a weirdness.
Well, it's weird because the next question is: was there any resentment or backlash from black artists who felt you were taking up space in the soul genre? I think you kind of answered that.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Be honest.
No, not black artists. No, because I became friends with loads of them, and they were always like. They just thought I was flying the flag, really, for black music.
Fair enough. Be honest, do you think you'd have the same success if you were a black artist in the same era?
That's a very interesting...
Very race-driven question, isn't it?
No, but it's a very interesting question because there have been some very talented black artists and super talented. And you know what? It's like, could they have been bigger than me? Yes, with the right investment and the right push and all that. So I don't know whether in a sense that some record companies just didn't pursue it, or they saw more mileage maybe in an artist like me that had that kind of white pop factor.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough to say that it's directly that's racist or whatever. But I've discussed this with other artists friends of mine who are black, and they've come to the conclusion that yes, that so it was harder to break through and have that huge success, not for all of them, but for a lot of them. And they felt that was because of their colour, even though musically and creatively they're very clever. Now, that might be, is that because the money wasn't put into them like it should be and the push wasn't there? I don't know.
Right.
It's a mystery. We'll never fully understand it, but there might be actually
something in that.
Some truth in that.
Side note, who are your top 3 soul UK artists of all time? Let me put that in there.
Oh, my soul,
yeah,
the top
man.
Soul. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay. Every singer has their favourite singers, isn't it? I mean, really, really vocally. Do you know Tony Monreal?
No.
Oh my goodness, you should.
Right.
He's got a beautiful voice. I did the Albert Hall with him just before Christmas with Trevor Nelson's Christmas party thing.
Right.
And he's a great singer. Tony Monreal's worked with Incognito, done a lot of his own music as well, but he's super talented and it's vocally beautiful, beautiful voice. And so then after that, and I don't like putting them in this packing order because they're all so
just
uniquely
any order,
good.
then. Just give me
Andrew Roachford.
Right.
You know Roachford from there. He's so soulful and such a great voice.
Yeah.
And then who else after that? Again, English.
Yeah.
Right. I would love to say Jocelyn Brown. She's one of the greatest singers of all time, but she's American.
Yeah.
But you could say she's more British than she's American.
She's here a lot.
Lived most of her life here.
Yeah.
So Jocelyn Brown, but then also, Beverly Knight. I've heard Beverly Knight sing many times.
Yes.
And I've never heard her drop a note.
Yeah. Fair enough. Did you ever feel like Cool Tempo Records exploited you as a soul singer for being palatable to a white audience?
Again, another racially driven question, but
I mean,
it's still a good one. No, not Cool Tempo wouldn't be, because Cool Tempo, if you study their history of black music,
right,
of who they've had on the label, then it's serious. I mean, they were serious pioneers of dance and black music, and they had some great black artists on their label.
Okay.
And so no, they would never have had that kind of idea.
Some say your success was manufactured. How much of your early career was truly authentic?
It was not manufactured. It was done. We were making it up as we went along, and I was doing what felt right and making the music that we wanted to make. And I just think that there were times where we got on, when we did Top of the Pops, we looked at each other and really did me and Ian Green looked at each other and thought, how the hell did we get here? Because we were just making music that we wanted to make.
Yeah, I think you've answered these questions, but I'll read them out anyway. Why do you think the UK industry sidelined you after the 90s? Was it your look, your age, or something else? Or was it labels and it was the...
I don't think it was age. I think that, it didn't sideline me. I just really failed to put out the right kind of records, and we were in an enormous manufactured pop period. You know what I mean?
You had a platinum debut album. Why didn't you manage to maintain that level of success? Well, we've covered that. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever felt bitter watching newer, less talented artists blow up off TikTok and social media while you're overlooked?
No, because that's not my mindset. I'm not jealous.
Yeah.
I think there's enough to go round, and I'm sort of like really, into the hearing talent, and I enjoy watching people's success.
If Kenny Thomas started today, would he even make it in this industry full of image first, voice second artists?
Would you want to?
Would you want to?
Well, I don't know. When people say, when youngsters come up to me and say, how do you get into the music game? I say, wrong question. The question is, how do you get out of it?
You've been labelled as a blue-eyed soul artist. Do you see that as praise or coded racism? This loves race, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I've spoken to over the years that don't like that blue-eyed soul thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think I like it.
Where did it come from?
I'm not sure. It's an American thing, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
It's going to be an American thing. Well, for me, it's kind of... I think that you just make soul music. Like I say, it's the only thing I know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else. So if I grew up with rock, I guess I would have done rock music. But I grew up with
fair play.
Soul.
What was the lowest point in your career? Something fans never knew about.
The lowest point in my career.
Yeah.
The lowest point in my career. Well, it depends what you mean. Just see, I've had low points, but they would be that my career was ongoing or up and down, if you like. But the lowest points were my life's been dotted with quite a lot of bereavement and loss. So I've lost, people and friends who've died young.
Yeah.
And I think they'll always be the low points, But if you talk about creatively in terms of the career and the record deals and all that, the lowest point would be the loss of the Him album.
Yeah.
That was like, it was over. Really.
Yeah.
Apart from gigging, it was over.
Why do you think the UK never gave soul music the same love it gives grime or Britpop?
Well, I think it did. I think it did. I think if you're old enough like me and you remember the 80s and you remember the level of soul music that was being played by Robbie Vincent, Steve Walsh, Tony Blackburn, and even the earlier days when you had like Pete Tong and all those guys who were playing soul music, it was around and it was big.
Yeah. Who in the industry did you lose respect for as your career progressed, and why?
You don't lose respect for.
Swerve some of this, Okay.
I mean, you can lose respect. If you lose respect for anyone, it's always going to be on a personal level, isn't it? They've let you down, or you think they've let themselves down.
Yeah, I think you've answered this. Have you ever been asked to change your sound or image to stay relevant, and did you ever consider it? I think.
Yeah.
What's something you regret not saying or doing at the peak of your fame? We're almost there.
Well, I think what?
What's something you regret not saying or doing at the peak of your fame?
Oh, at the peak of my fame, not doing, working harder.
Yeah, but you got to party, innit?
Yeah, but
you got to hit the party.
Not playing so hard, but just working a bit hard. I would have put more energy in the creative situations.
If the industry never fully acknowledges you as a soul pioneer, will that leave a bitter taste, or are you at peace with it?
No, at peace with it, because I just do my thing, and it's like, and that's it. Please myself.
What's the biggest lie the public believed about you during your peak years?
Oh, the one that comes up often was it was terrible. The bad thing was the record company tried to get me a Radio 1 play back then.
Right.
I think they wanted Simon Bates, who was a big DJ at the time, to play it.
Right.
And as a result of that, they came up with some absolute nonsense that I was discovered in a karaoke bar.
Oh, right.
And that stuck for some time. I had to keep correcting people. No, I've never done karaoke. I probably would lose anyway. So it's not true. And then there was that. And then the other one was he was a BT engineer. I was never a BT engineer.
Yeah, it just sounds better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes me sound clever, doesn't it? Yeah, it makes me sound technically clever.
Would you ever go on a show like The Voice or X Factor, or is that beneath a real artist like you?
I've watched them a little bit when they first came out.
Yeah.
Like my friend Andy Abrams was on it, and obviously Steve Brookstein and people like that. Yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me. Yeah, I always found them. I think that they were just kind of like too short-lived. I've wanted to see a much bigger, more serious career come off the back of it, and I suppose the only one you could say was massive was One Direction, wasn't it? They conquered America. That was huge.
These are quick fire answers, so I just need very quick answers, please, sir. Ever mimed a live show?
You had to do loads of them, yeah.
Yeah.
But what, a live show?
Yeah.
Oh no, never.
Okay.
Did you mime? We had to mime on TV, Top of the Pops and all of that.
Oh, was that all mimed?
The early ones were.
Oh,
then it
okay.
went live after that.
Right.
But
so it was their fault and not yours.
Miming's a nightmare. Do you know how good? Yeah, you have to.
You've got to get it bang on. Yeah.
Oh man, if you ain't bang on,
and the delay sometimes in the feedback.
If you ain't bang on, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But have I ever mimed a live show?
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. That's ripping people off.
That's blasphemy. Who was the most overrated UK soul singer? Swerving that. Yeah. Was there ever a song you hated singing?
I hated singing now because I was still 30 odd years on. I'm still singing them.
Yeah.
You know.
Who copied your style and got away with it?
No one was silly enough to do that.
Ever turned down a collab you now regret?
No.
Dude, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. Ever thought of quitting music for good?
Yeah.
Did fame mess up any? Yeah. Did fame mess up any personal relationships?
Not really, no.
Ever feel like the UK doesn't respect real soul music?
Oh, I think the ones that follow soul music do, but on a wider scale, probably. No, I think it doesn't. I mean, when you over the years, when I know you want a short answer, I'm going to give you this. When you go into record shops, as they were then, and then there was no soul section.
Yeah.
There was this, there was that, there was no soul section. That makes you realise, oh, they just don't get it.
Most fake interview you've ever done? I said this one.
No, not this one. Most fake. Oh, the kids' TV things were always
right because you had
they
to
were
be
really, really hard work.
Yeah,
You
I
had to
hear
act like an idiot to get on there.
One hit you hate performing but fans demand?
No, I enjoy performing all of them. Yeah, I don't mind them.
Do you think, this is my question, do you think thinking about your love is so big now it's overshadowed everything else?
Yeah.
As time's gone by, like.
Yeah, because it's a big record, and it's one of those records where it's more famous than I'll ever be in a way.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where people hear it and then realise, wow, he sang it, or the record's bigger than me.
Is that a double-edged sword for you?
I don't mind it really because I don't, I'm not seeking that kind of glory.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it would be nice, for people eventually, as they do, as they did with that King's Cross thing, for instance, they put a face to it and understand that it's my record and I did it. But I'm happy for people to know if people ultimately know the record and don't know me, then I'm cool with that.
Most money you ever blew in a single day?
I don't know, I can't remember. Well, I did blow money, but it's probably because I can't remember it.
Ever been jealous of another artist's success?
No.
Did cool temper hold you back or push you forward?
Both.
Ever lied in an interview?
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Would you call the Brit Awards a joke?
No.
Ever been racially profiled despite being a soul singer?
Racially profiled?
Mate, I don't
What
know.
does that mean?
Not
That
swerving.
I'm like...
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I'm just reading it at
Yeah,
this point.
what does that mean, racially profiled?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Have you think your voice is stronger now than it was in the 90s?
100%. Yeah, it's different. It's changed. It's older, more mature. But now I kind of know what I'm doing.
What's one thing the UK press always got wrong about you?
I don't know really. What that was the squeaky clean boy next door.
If you died today, what would the music industry not say out loud about you?
What would they not say out loud?
Yeah, as in like not give you your props. I don't know.
I don't know, and I don't care.
Well, fuck them. I'm giving you your props, sir. It's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No,
I need
just
to
say
speak to
thank
your
you for
camera.
having me on here.
I need to speak to your camera because my acid reflux is so bad. Yeah,
Oh, really?
It's stopping me in my tracks. Yeah.
Well,
no, he's laughing. It's not
no.
fucking funny. I've had to walk off interviews because it's so bad.
Okay,
yeah?
what are you on? Omeprazole,
I've stopped all that.
Stop all those PPIs.
I had surgery on my stomach for it.
What, for the lower esophageal sphincter?
I'm having it so bad, but we're going to talk off camera. Like, I'm telling you, I'm in big trouble. Save me. The album, ladies and gentlemen, is out now. Unstoppable. The legend that is Kenny Thomas is in the building. He should be Sir Kenny Thomas. We need an MB. We need an MB for this gentleman. Thank you so much for your time, sir. It's been an absolute pleasure. I would love to come to the show. I'm coming to the show.
You are coming.
Yeah. Don't blank my number now. Say, yeah, I've done it.
No, you are coming.
But it's lovely to see you out here. Love to you and your family and your daughter. And it's been absolutely incredible.
Pleasure.
God bless you, sir. Album out now. Peace.